three cinephiles have come together to bring you strong opinions, controversial statements, epic battles, and plenty of fun. Introducing our host, the man who watches 52 movies a week, drinks 52 beers a movie, loves women but hates the woman, from the foreign land of Canada, our host, Moodz 616. He is widely known as the man who talks too much. His worst enemies are Postmaster P and Pee Wee Herman. He said Hellraiser was overrated and Leprechaun Origins wouldn't suck. He's the full-blooded half-Mexican, JP. Finally, we have the man who doesn't talk enough. He is best friends with Sean S. Cunningham. His favorite horror movie is Gummo. He is your favorite Jew and mine, Jeremy. Together they are known for extending a helping hand to vampircons everywhere. They are the 22 shots of Moodz and horror.
Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 53, the 22 shots of Moodz and horrors coming at you live. I am your host, Moodz 616, and of course, I've always got my two biological sons with me. NES Ruler, also known as Jeremy, and of course, we've got the double shot J, also known as JP. What's up, boys?
I thought I was going to be a king, like a magical king or something.
I thought it was going to be my suicidal friends.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
Suicidal friends. You know, that would be actually more legit.
But now I'm stuck with your biological sons, did you say?
Biological sons.
So you had me when you were 14? Yeah.
That could happen. That could
happen.
Actually, probably not. I was barely hitting puberty when I was 14. So.
Like when we got pulled over and we said you were...
Oh, yeah.
I'll never forget that story. Us getting pulled over and the cops.
Hold on, wait a minute. We have not heard this story.
Yeah, me and Moodz were going to Cinema West Side, and I'm sick as a dog. And Moodz is going like 80, and we were in Indiana, and he gets pulled over by a Indiana state trooper, and he comes up. So he's like, "Where you guys going?" We're like, "Oh, we're going to a horror convention in Ohio, in Cleveland." He's like, "How do you know each other?" It's like, "Oh, we met on the internet."
No. Just before that, he's like, "Oh, are you taking your son?" And I was like, trying not to fucking laugh. I was like, dude, either he looks really young or I look super fucking old.
Yeah, but I'm like, when I said we met on the internet, I just was bursting out laughing when the cop.
We were laughing. Sorry. I'm like, I can just imagine what was going through his mind. It's like, okay, this old pervert is taking this kid to Cleveland.
Oh. Jeremy, you should have looked at the cop with big eyes and like whispered like, "Help me, help."
No, man, fuck that shit.
He's putting his Canadian sausage in my butthole.
See, the thing is, man, we pulled this off good because I actually never got a ticket.
Nope.
So it wasn't so bad. He's like, "Hey, guys," he's like, "Hey, just slow down. The horror convention's still going to be there." And he's like, "Save your money." He goes, "I'm not going to give you a ticket. You guys can save your money for more purchases there." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks, bud."
Yeah, because he probably saw him be like, "Oh, this guy's Canadian."
It was shit though, man. I was only doing.
He's like, last thing I need is some
Canadian
to go back to Canada saying how dickish cops are in America.
Dude, every fucking,
Don't you get pulled over like every time you come here?
Every single fucking time I'm there, and I always have like the best experiences with U.S. troopers, man. It's fucking amazing. Like the last time I was in, of course, going to Cleveland, I got that flat tire and it was like the best experience ever. Like this guy helped out to no tomorrow. You would never see that in Canada. Oh yeah. So what's been going on, guys?
Well, the last couple of weeks I've been trying to work on the site a little bit. I'm kind of testing the waters of doing the Hall of Pain. But also,
yes, you are.
Also, I kind of want to maybe consider revamping what would qualify to be in the Hall of Pain, because the way I look at it, if I give something an 8, there should be no way that it could ever also make the Hall of Pain. You know what I mean?
But I thought the general rules was it doesn't matter what happens.
If you give it an 8,
ratings don't add up to 10. Yeah, I mean, what are the chances that ever happens?
It's
JP?
low
if you
chances,
give some an 8
but
and we give like a 1 and 1. But even if, well,
I think it should be like under 7 or something. I don't know. Like I feel like a 4. I even feel like a 4. If you rate something a 4, it should
okay. Now this
not have a chance of
this
making
is basically creating. This is basically creating a viewer's poll right here. So let us know what your thoughts on this. How you think the Hall of Pain should work.
I feel like
I think it should be if all 3 of our ratings don't add up to 10 or more.
Me too.
Then it's automatic Hall of Pain. I mean, dude, that's pretty fucking bad, man. I mean,
is
think
it
about
though,
it.
Like
if all 3 of us give a 3, No, it's pretty hard, man. Like, I mean,
Only
3
2
4s is
movies.
12.
How many movies are
Yeah,
in the
but
Hall
if
of
I
Fame?
give it a 4 and you give it a 2 and Jeremy gives it a 2, like I feel like it should be reserved, just like the Hall of Fame is reserved for the best of the best, where it has to have an 8.5 or higher. You know what I mean, for it to even make it into the Hall of Fame. I feel like it should be the reverse on the Hall of Fame.
If it's under 10, so
just think about it though. How many movies are in the Hall of Fame? Let's see.
I haven't checked.
Jaws 4 and Witchcraft 3 and fucking Warlock 3.
I think there might be more, dude.
No, the entity, not entity.
But entity feels like it deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Same with Jaws 4.
Yeah. I mean, really, honestly, JP, there isn't a lot of films. I mean, we've
looking back on the entity, okay,
1,500, 2,000 films on the podcast, and there's maybe 4. Yeah.
But if you look at the entity rather, I gave it a 2, Jeremy gave it a 2.5, and Moodz gave it a 1. That's a bona fide Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? But
dude,
what about Warlock 3?
Film.
Warlock 3? I'm not even sure. Do you remember? I could check real quick.
I don't know, man. I know the ratings were complete shit on that film, but I can't really think of too many others that are like insanely low.
I feel like it should be like 7 and under, because Warlock 3, I gave it a 2.5, Jeremy gave it a 2, and Moodz gave it a 2.5.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Let us know, guys.
Right there, that's barely. That's not even making the Hall of Fame. Then, like, I think it should be 9. Or so basically, if our ratings add up to 10 or more, then it's past. It doesn't make it. So if it's under 10, so 9.5, basically, then it's bona fide and it's in the Hall of garbage. So
okay,
yeah.
we'll just ask the listeners. Let us know what you guys think the thing should be. I'm cool either way. But I was thinking about it a little bit, and I just feel like if I give something a 4 and it could still make the Hall of Fame, it just feels like, I don't know if it's necessarily the worst, because it's supposed to be the worst movies ever, right? But I don't know. We'll figure it out. Also, I was messing around. Me and Chris actually started that new Vault of Horror series. I don't know if you two checked that out, but I thought it was a really cool idea.
Yeah, it's cool.
Kind of to shed some light on some lost or forgotten or just unknown little items from horror history. We have like hundreds of, between me and him, we have like hundreds of different things there. I mean, some of it is I know that some of it is like full movies of things and stuff. Like I put that Monster Vision up, so I do recommend, if you have like to buy the movie, like don't just watch it if you don't own it type thing. I don't want this to be like a pirate thing, but the fact is you can't get those Monster Vision anywhere.
Now that you have editing software, why don't you try and edit it just the Monster Vision parts? Because
it's not as fun. It really isn't. It takes away from the experience. Those clips are all on YouTube anyway.
Yeah.
But for example, like Crybaby Lane, that's a film that's never been released on video of any format, not even VHS. So I don't feel bad for putting that on online for people to see. I'm not trying to pirate anything. That's not what we're doing here. Just to clear that up, because somebody had mentioned something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I mean, if you can't get the Monster Visions or things that you can't get, like how? Why? What's the argument there?
Well, I think it was because it was They Live and it was a popular movie, and I was like, no, by no means am I trying to like pirate They Live. I do recommend. Yeah, I do recommend everybody buys They Live. So then watch it.
Fact, like I mean, most of the people that are, I mean, seriously, like we're not about that shit at all. I mean, we buy pretty much the majority
especially
of the shit
coming from us, right? I mean, us huge collectors.
And what I mean by the majority of the stuff, some of the stuff is, given to us through, screener copies and stuff. But, we're not about uploading and pirating and fucking people over. No, we talk about, buying shit constantly.
Yeah.
Supporting indie labels and supporting shit. You don't just rip off people, man.
Yeah. I would, for example, I would never put a movie like, Creepshow on there, just Creepshow by itself, Why
here's a great example. Like, I got Dustin Mills' new film in the mail today, A Black Heart in White Hell. I'm not just going to upload this on fucking line.
Yeah.
because I respect him. He's an indie
Fucking
director.
eye offer.
Us three are actually very against pirating in the first place, which we don't really talk about that much. But I know Moodz is 100% both in the music industry and in the film industry, and I feel the same way. So that's definitely not what we're trying to do there. But also, I did put up some of you guys' some more of you and Jeremy's reviews too. I think I did 2 or 3 each.
Yeah.
So I'll get to the rest of them sooner or later. But I've been trying to keep up on the site a little bit. Yeah,
they're definitely been pumping them out here. So, yeah, I mean, numbers I'm surprised how much Jeremy's been keeping up, man. He's been fucking doing a good job, man. Written videos. I was like, damn, look at Jeremy putting in that work.
I have 2 more. I just got in today, 2 more. So, yeah, I have nothing left. I got through all of them. I've just been chilling, being able to watch movies that I want to watch.
I basically I have like 2 more to do right now. I have one for Artsploitations, The Treatment, which I know you guys have done. And I got another one from Midnight Releasing that I got to redo because I actually deleted my review. Can you fucking
that's the worst.
I even had it bounce. It was all done. And
try losing 10 parts of your DVD shelf.
Oh, yeah, I remember when that happened.
So I was so pissy, and I just got to redo it. So I'm like, fuck. But I think this time I'm actually going to watch all the features that are on it, too, and just totally redo it. So because this release actually has features, so kind of cool. But yeah. So... what's been going on besides that stuff, guys? What's going on in the personal lives?
Nothing much. JP, how's your car doing?
Oh, yeah. So yesterday, on my way to work, my car was still in the shop. Me and my pap broke down in the truck. I had to call my cousin, wake her up on her only day off. She works or goes to school 6 days a week, and I had to have her take me into work. It was a terrible day, but at the end of the day, my car did get fixed that same day, and we got it out of the shop. What
was wrong with it?
What's actually wrong with it?
Oh, that's not anything.
Oh, it's shitty.
Yeah, but they fixed it. The guy I bought it off of, even though I bought it as is, which means I don't know about in Canada, but in America, like that's it. You buy the car and nothing.
Oh no, that's the same way.
So you basically get screwed when you buy used cars like that, but. Because the guy was somebody that we knew, my pap went to high school and middle school with him. He actually fixed it, which was like $500 for free for us. So, shout out to Mondale's Auto Sales.
Nice. Well, that's good.
Anybody in
because they're totally gonna listen to this too, right? Could you imagine if they actually responded?
Yeah.
Hey, dude,
that'd be fucking amazing.
It's been in that industry for a long time, so.
Yeah, but I have worse luck with vehicles.
Yeah, you do have pretty shitty luck, I have to say.
But
yeah, man,
here's
really
looking to the future of me not having car problems every month and ruining my catching up on Scream Factory, because I've been close to catching up on the releases, and then I'll have car problems and I'll have to save up like $3,500 or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Did you guys happen to see when the release date for I'll back up a little bit here. So Scream Factory recently announced, their Comic-Con 10 titles and stuff like that. A lot of mixed opinions and, reviews on their choices of titles. But, to be honest, I wasn't like overly, saddened by
I will bring
the
those
announcement
up in
stuff.
the news, by the way.
Yeah. So I'm not going to get to it, but I just wanted to talk one in particular. I was on Wikipedia and because I actually have that page saved just for, that's how I order all their shit. Mm-hmm. And, anyways, I was looking at the release date for Return to the Living Dead, and it said fall of 2016. I was like, holy shit, man. Like, that's fucking far away, man.
Yeah. I have a feeling...
That just kind of caught me off guard. I was like, what?
Trying to get the... I know there's like a rough cut of it, or some sort of other cut that had other footage or something. Maybe they're trying to restore that stuff. Web print. Like, it was a different version of it.
Well, like I said, when I saw the announcement for Return of the Living Dead, I was like, well, like, how are they going to top that fucking Steelbook edition, man? Because that edition is amazing. It's got tons of features. It actually has the More Brains documentary in high def. It's actually in high def. It looks fantastic. It's got tons of other features. It's just an amazing, amazing release. It's like the definitive Return of the Living Dead edition out so far, and it's not even American. So I'm kind of thinking that, they better even put the More Brains on there and get maybe the work print of it and all. They got to do a pretty good job.
Which I don't think they can
get the and the other thing the other release has going for it is the steelbook, and it's like the most fantastic art on it too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's such a good release, man. It's one of my favorite releases.
I'm happy
in
I
my whole
bought it
collection.
too. Yeah, it's cool.
So I was like, wow, Return of the Living Dead. This is going to be interesting what Scream Factory does with this.
Yeah, I'll be curious just to see what they do, what they get, and what they don't get. I have a feeling that getting the More Brains documentary might be hard because I believe that's the same company who just signed that deal with Image Entertainment, the company that put out the Elm Street Legacy and the Crystal Lake Memories. I think that they also did the Return of the Living Dead documentary More Brains, so that might be held up with Image right now.
Yeah, which is actually one of my favorite documentaries of all time.
It's the best.
I love it, man. I love it. So much fucking fun. And to all you Return of Living Dead haters out there, fuck you, Zach.
Calling him out.
4 out of 10.
I know for a fact.
Me?
I know for a fact he just bursted out laughing at that. That's good. I'm always on his ass about that. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. I couldn't believe when the release date was. It's fucking incredible. So right now that's going to get bumped back probably till 2017.
Yeah, but only 2 more weeks till Ghost Town. Oh yeah,
Ghost Town. Yeah.
I really want to grab
28.
The People Under the Stairs version from ScreamFactory.com to get that fucking poster, but they're selling it for $25, dude. I was so bummed when I seen that. I want it really bad, though.
I want it.
It is a good poster, man. I got to say the color scheme on that thing is just it's outrageous, man. It's really, really popping. Be a nice poster. I should maybe try and order from Scream Factory at least once. Maybe
you should have did it while their sale is going on because it's free shipping to Canada during that Comic-Con sale they just had.
Fuck, I didn't even know that there was free shipping to Canada.
Yeah.
That would have been worth it. That sucks. You guys got to post this shit, man. Okay. Yeah. Well, do we got some news, JP?
Yeah, we got a little bit of news. Not too much. It's mostly like acquisitions and like announcements, not really actual horror news. But the only piece of horror news we have is that recently director Cary Fukunaga, who was slated to direct the double-part adaptation of Stephen King's It, was removed from the project, and now he has finally been replaced by the guy who directed Mama. So New Line Cinema's Mama. That is the guy who will be directing it, which honestly kind of bummed me out a little bit because I don't know much about Cary Fukunaga's like directorial skills. He did True Detective, a lot of episodes of that. I know that's like the main thing that he's didn't really do much horror stuff, but I liked what he was saying about bringing the adaptation of It to screen. Like all the comments and quotes that they had over the 2+ years of him talking about remaking this, I've liked where his head was at. So now it kind of worries me because now they're actually going to bring in another writer to cater more towards this new guy's vision. So now I'm like, what the fuck? This is going to be a development hell type thing. So now they're looking to shoot next June, I believe. So a year from now.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, not really. After that, we have, I thought I'd just bring this up. I don't know if you guys caught it, because I know we normally don't watch trailers on this show, but I had to check it out. I don't have a problem watching TV trailers. Ash vs. Evil Dead. The full trailer was released.
Yeah, it's funny, man. I had about 4 or 5 people at work ask me about that. Like, Moodz, what'd you think of the trailer? And I'm like, man, I don't watch trailers, man. They're like, what?
So you didn't even bite on this one at all?
No.
I didn't bite on it either, to be honest.
Wow.
No.
So I'm the only one who actually watched it. I will say,
pretty much everyone said that it looked fun, so I don't know.
It looks fun in the terms of Evil Dead 2 Army of Darkness fun. It's definitely more comedy. I felt like the very first shot, it's a comedic shot, and I thought it was like, I instantly, like, it disappointed me. But as I finished going through the trailer, there was some shitty, like, funny, like overly comedic stuff, but then I started laughing I actually was laughing out loud at a few moments too, so I was like, okay, this is I just have to accept this, that it's not gonna be what I originally wanted, which was a dark, serious Evil Dead TV show, it's going to be more in the vein of what we expected. And if I just accept it, I think that this is going to be really fun. So I give it a thumbs up, the trailer. So we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But the
Well,
majority
that sounds promising.
Yeah, the majority of the internet was really high on it. So I think I was the least high out of everybody that I've talked to. And I still thought it was pretty cool. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
and you definitely convinced me on it, so.
Yeah. So after that, we have Salem Season 3, WGN American Original Breakout Hit Series Salem has been announced for a third season. It's a 1-hour drama horror series that began, I believe, 2 years ago. The third season will actually begin production later this year for a 2016 debut. Now, I know that all three of us are unfamiliar with this show, and I've heard many mixed things. I've heard everybody say that season 1, it takes a while to get going, but once it gets going, it's good. And then I hear good things about season 2. So if it's going to a third season, it probably is a solid show. I've heard people talk about it quite a bit for having no idea what it really is. But apparently it's like a witch show. I know that their posters that they released during season 1, like the teaser posters, were really fucking cool. Like some badass artwork, some like creepy, disturbing artwork. So, season 3 is on its way for anybody who watches that.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know anything about it.
Me neither.
Yep. I feel like our show is so far geared away from horror TV compared to other shows that I've heard. Like, we really don't watch horror TV at all. Not that we don't like horror TV, but I think we're all just in the same boat where we like to wait till it's run its course and then watch it all on DVD when it gets released.
Yeah, I'm definitely strange like that. But, the thing is, I think it's more new TV horror like shows, and I have no problem with them at all. It's just exactly what you just said. Like, I'm waiting for them to run their course before I can dump into them. But
or else
the thing is, man, I mean,
like Hannibal.
The thing is, I was actually exactly my point. And the thing is, like, I mean, I don't want the viewers out there or the listeners out there to to kind of misconstrue that comment, because I love TV horror. I mean, I was actually watching Tales from the Crypt the other day. I just randomly grabbed season 5 and I was just like popping in episodes, and I was watching Twilight Zone a couple weeks back too. I love taking out the episodes and watching them random places. Weird like that, but yeah, I always pop. But I really got to start watching some of these shows.
I just have no interest.
Like American Horror Story, I just want to check out for myself because I've heard such mixed reviews on every season so far. Like, some people loved season 1, some people didn't, and
I think that's the
season
show.
2 is the best, and and I'm really curious on it, and I kind of like what they're doing with that. Kind of changing the whole premise every single season. I think that's really kind of interesting.
Honestly, I'm most interested in that show out of all the ones that I haven't seen yet. Like, that show sounds really cool to me, but I am interested in a lot of these shows. It's just so much to keep up with, all these different shows. And I hate waiting week to week. Like, I started watching Under the Dome when that premiered. They're on like season 3 now. I started watching Bates Motel. I watched a full first season of that. They're on like season 4 now. And I just, I like waiting till the series wraps up, because then even if it gets canceled early, at least going into it that it gets canceled early. Unlike Hannibal, where if you're watching week to week and then all of a sudden your favorite TV show gets canceled and you're pissed off, like, I don't want that to happen to me. But
yeah, I try to save myself from that disappointment, man. Actually, it's funny you mentioned Bates Motel, because I've been dying to watch that. Like, one part of me wants it to end like after 5 seasons or something like that. Like, actually have a
I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest.
Just so I can fucking start watching it, because I'm so weird like that. Like, I know me and JP are just strange when it comes to TV shows.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, from what I've heard, exactly
I just don't have
what
the
Jeremy just
attention
said.
span.
Really, I love TV more than movies sometimes. Like, I love to sit down and binge watch TV.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I do it too. I mean, I remember when Dexter, when I first got the first 2 seasons of Dexter, I watched it like in like basically a day and a half. Like, it was the most binge watching ever.
Yeah.
So
I did binge watch Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
That is true.
That show's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, actually, keeping on that same track, at San Diego Comic-Con, a rep for MTV announced that season 2 was greenlit. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you are, that was actually retracted, and he said it's actually not greenlit. The announcement is kind of looming, and they're definitely trying to make an effort to see if they can for sure say that, but it's actually not been picked up for a second season as of right now. So a little premature announcement there for Scream Season 2.
You liked Season 3. You liked Episode 3, didn't you, JP?
Yeah, so check it out. When I originally reviewed the first episode, I told you guys I really wasn't feeling it. The second episode, I was even feeling it less. And then the third episode, I think, was the best episode, and it was like a long slasher. It was like a slasher movie in a half-hour episode, or an hour. I think it's actually an hour-long show. But I was like, wow, this was actually a decent one. They cut out a lot of the bad teenage comedy lines that is, it's obviously just a disconnect with me. Like, I'm not saying that stuff is bad, because that stuff was in movies and TV shows that I grew up with. You know what I mean? It was just in a different way. So I can't really criticize it for that. But it just was a disconnect with me. This one was actually.
But is there continuity between all 3 episodes?
Yeah. It's a flowing story. Like, it's all surrounding the same characters.
I thought maybe from director might add different elements.
So what you're saying is the first couple episodes was a lot of introduction to characters and kind of
yes and no, yes and no.
And then episode 3 just kind of like, okay, well, we're going to get away from the character development and we're going to go bona fide slasher now.
Well, there was actually still character development in episode 3, but what I liked about episode 3 was that it felt for the first time like a slasher movie, and it actually killed off a character who I wasn't expecting to be killed off, and I was like, whoa, okay, I like what you're doing here, because they've pretty much killed at least one person in the 3. They've killed multiple people in, I think, all of the episodes except for this one, but this kill was more special because it actually had meaning and implications to the future of the show, and as well as it was like a cat and mouse type thing. There was like twisty, like trickery things going on. Like, I kind of liked what they were doing with the killer, because it's Ghostface, right? Like, it's not the Ghostface we know, but it's like, do you want to play a game Ghostface, where he's like, he texts the girl, like, and she's the main character's trying to protect her friends and stuff. It was a good episode, I'll say that. It got me going back to the 4th episode, because this was it. I was done if this episode wasn't good. So I actually think this was the best episode they've done so far.
That's cool, man. Well, props to you for holding out to the 3rd episode. I mean, most people if the first episode was a little underwhelming, and then you move on to the second one and it's even less, warming and comforting, usually most people would pack it in. But yeah, that's good, man. That's good.
Maybe it's
proud of you, buddy.
So after that, we have IFC Midnight and Boulder Pictures announcing a release date for upcoming sequel film called Contracted Phase 2. The release date is September 4th of 2015 on Digital Theater Limited and on-demand services.
Coolio.
Making a sequel. Wow.
That's old news.
Well, I mean, it's they announced the film a while back, but they announced the release.
Yeah, they probably did. I just have a shit memory. So
yeah, they announced it a while ago.
Yeah,
right, JP.
Yeah, well, yeah, we've actually talked about it at least 4 times on the show.
Oh no, probably. I just
Yeah. So I have still yet to see the first one, but I know you two both liked it, so I'll definitely check out the first and second one eventually. After that, we have Poltergeist, the remake. MGM and Fox, is releasing the Blu-ray on.
Whoa! There's a remake of Poltergeist?
There is.
I'm joking.
It's going to be released digital September 4th, Blu-ray 3D, Blu-ray and DVD September 29th.
And it's like the extended cut, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Thank you, Jeremy. It actually has an alternate opening and ending, I believe. I didn't write it down, so don't quote me on it, but it has some kind of alternate footage.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've pretty much gauged that almost every horror fan seems to say it's lukewarm, and I'll probably agree. But I'll still see it by the end of the year, just so it's.
Yeah, people haven't said that it's terrible. It's just not good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
So Lionsgate has set Eli Roth's film Knock Knock to Sundance. It's going to be released in limited theaters on demand October 9th, 2015.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. After
Right in time for Halloween.
Yeah,
That is.
I'm interested in that film a lot, actually. But as well as the Green Inferno, obviously. So after that, we actually have a announcement from Artsploitation Films.
Yep.
And that is that we have a film called German Angst, which is supposed to be some sort of anthology that they picked up from Paris-based Real Suspects Studio. So the Artsploitation has the North American release. It's supposed to be hitting in 2016, I believe, on Blu-ray, DVD, and VOD. It's an anthology. One of the more interesting things is that our homie, we've covered 2 of his films and now a third one today, our homie Jorg Bergerite.
Nailed it.
He actually has a segment called Final Girl that tells the story of a young girl who lives alone with her guinea pig in a rundown apartment in Berlin. But is she really alone? In the bedroom lies a man bound and gagged. Sounds pretty cool. And then there's 2 other segments on there. This sounds really neat to me. I don't know. This just from the images that was released and the descriptions. Artsploitation, man, doing big things.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. Putting out so much good stuff right now.
And I love the anthology format, so that's cool with me.
Yeah.
And with Jorg Bergerite, we know that we're getting some off the wall type shit.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see what his segment is looks like, and how what it's like, because I mean,
it's weird to
pretty
think
much everything we've seen by him
like
is
a grindhousey looking movie now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I'm really intrigued by this. So.
Yeah. So after that, we have another little announcement from I actually forget who's doing this, but it's Halloween 6. The producer's cut is supposed to be re-released in a standalone edition. Obviously, the producer cut was the long sought after alternate cut of Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers that was released last year by Anchor Bay and Scream Factory partnering up, which was a huge release mainly for Halloween 6, to be honest. So now it's actually going to get its own cut, so Jeremy can actually get a copy.
Yeah.
Its own release.
Told you fuckers. I probably won't get the special features.
It was
Do you know who's
inevitable.
releasing
We all
it,
knew
Jeremy?
this was going to happen.
Lionsgate.
This is not.
Okay.
This is not surprising.
Yeah, so that's
This is
weird
not surprising.
how those rights went, right? I mean, because Lionsgate, Echo Bridge originally had the rights.
Yeah.
Well, Miramax originally had the rights, licensed it to Echo Bridge. Somehow it came back to Anchor Bay for a minute, and then now it's Lionsgate picked up all the ones that Echo Bridge had. I'm not really sure how it all works.
Though, that, like Halloween 3 is getting another release too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck,
Universal's releasing it.
Yeah.
Why?
Because people will buy it. People at Walmart. That's when you put that in the Halloween season in Walmart for like $7.88.
Like $10. Yeah, exactly. $7.88 for the Blu-ray, and then people bite on it, I guess.
Yeah.
Some people are gonna pick it up just for the art that's on it. They're using different art on it, so.
Yeah, so
which I already have a DVD copy with that same art, so
Same.
like, whatever.
that's going to be released September 15th for only $10, I believe, which is a decent deal. So definitely get on that. After that, we have Criterion. They announced, The Brood, which is a David Cronenberg film from 1979
awesome.
that comes out October 13th. And then they were
Mulholland Drive.
they announced David Lynch's Mulholland Drive, which I don't think is it a horror film?
Not really, but it's fucking dark, and it's David Lynch, man.
Yeah.
So David Lynch's movies always appear in my horror section of my collection because
they're dark.
You can't even categorize David Lynch movies.
Yeah, they're Lynchian.
Yeah.
So that is October 27th. Will be available. It's available pre-order now. So after that, during the lengthy Comic-Con of 2015, San Diego Comic-Con, Scream Factory unveiled their list of 10 horror films that they were horror films in quotation marks. So they announced Women Prison Massacre from 1983. Does anybody know anything about that one?
No, but just by the title, I probably want to see it.
Yeah.
Well, all I know is that it's a Bruno Mattei film, so it's going to be fucking awful and fucking genius at the same time.
Yep. So that is the first women in prison film.
I'm super stoked. Every time, Bruno Mattei is getting so much fucking love in the last 2 years. All of his films. I
want to know who had the rights to that movie.
I don't think that movie ever had a release. So
it's weird.
Yeah, some odd reason, but yeah, that's pretty cool. That Scream Factory grabbed that one.
Blood and Lace from 1971 will also be released, which I'm unfamiliar with that one as well.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I think the reason why we're so familiar with that film, because I think that's another one that didn't have any type of media release.
So that's pretty good.
I think it even said it was the first time it has any type of release. So, fucking rights, man. When I saw the title, I was like, Blood and Black Lace. I was like, what the fuck? Oh, Blood and Lace. Thought it was like Mario Bob. I'm like, you fuckers. Of course.
Troll from 1986 and the sequel Troll 2 will be paired up in a double feature. That's a long suggested title that we knew was eventually going to come.
Well, I guess I can cross that off the obvious choices that were going to be released by Scream Factory, because I literally have that on a list.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Moodz actually has a list above his computer that reads obvious choices that Scream Factory will release.
Oh yeah, and that reminds me, I forgot to cross off Ghoulies and Ghoulies 2. Double feature.
Ghost Story from 1981. The Guardian from 1990.
I'm excited for The Guardian.
The Guardian, that's a great release. And of course, I know you fucking dickheads watch my update, but last one. No, you guys. But anyways, I grabbed The Guardian VHS.
Yeah, the DVD's been out of print for like forever.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah.
The Car from 1977 as well. Which I've actually never seen, but
which is annoying because
Arrow.
That release kind of pisses me off because Arrow put out a really, really stunning edition of that, and it's like,
was it Arrow UK though?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would never.
But I mean, everybody at this stage in their collecting career should have a multi-region player, an all-region player.
I don't.
Come on, get with the fucking times.
They're so hard to get, dude.
They're so, dude. I live in Canada where you cannot buy them, and I have 2 of them.
Yeah, because you're fucking Moodz.
Because I have to have them, dude.
He is correct. You are Moodz. So
I am Moodz.
Nightmares from 1983. That one sounds one of the more interesting ones to me.
That one's been like so expensive.
Yeah, that's
like
awesome.
$200.
For what, Nightmares?
Yeah, the Anchor Bay edition.
Dude, I actually have the disc.
I know.
Like, the actual disc. I have no fucking art for it. It pisses me off.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
And then we have Death Becomes Her from 1992.
And that's... Okay, I made a joke about this the other day. Because it's not necessarily like... It has horror elements to it, of course, with, people dying and haunting and stuff. But I made a joke about who would have ever thought that we would have seen a Meryl Streep film released by Scream Factory.
Yep. But it's happening now.
That's so fucking bizarre, dude. Like, oh, man. It's pretty funny. It's actually a pretty entertaining film, I'm not going to lie.
The Garbage Pail Kids movie from 1987. This is a collector's edition. You know what's funny? I know that we're going to laugh about it and stuff, but the reaction to that was one of the more... like, when I was on Twitter and Facebook and the internet, people were talking positive about that. It seemed like it was more Shout Factory people, but everybody seemed to be really excited about that over all of these. And I was like, really? So
I'm really hoping that like the collector's edition artwork for it is just like one of the old Garbage Pail Kids cards. I hope they just do it simple like that.
I guarantee that artwork's going to be really cool though.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to that actually. It's a fun movie. It's fucking terrible. So
horrendously bad.
It's so bad, but it's so much fun though. I mean,
if you like giant heads.
Well, actually, so then the final one is the one we talked about earlier, and that is the collector's edition of The Return of the Living Dead. So what's funny is I actually don't own any of these films except for obviously The Return of the Living Dead and Troll 1 and 2. So this was a good announcement for me personally.
That's funny because I own every title in there except for 2. Which are the 2 that never had releases before. So I'm like, fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
But Obviously, a couple of them I'm really excited for. Nightmares, which I don't have the artwork for it. Guardian, I'm really stoked. I only have the VHS. So, overall, my reaction to it was, it was pretty
Good.
above average. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, a couple films that never have releases is automatic Bonerville for me. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. Scream Factory, that's great. And going out and grabbing those out-of-print titles like Nightmares and The Guardian, again, bung. Like, I fucking, so that's good.
So I found it was a good announcement list, but the only thing I was just really hoping for a big heavy hitter that wasn't Return of the Living Dead, because like you said, it already has a pretty stacked edition out there. I was expecting to see something more along the lines of the Nightbreed set or a giant box set or something like that. That's what I was kind of hoping with their 10th one would be.
Well, as soon as that 10th title was announced and it wasn't the Phantasm box set, all you heard was,
yeah.
And I mean, let's be honest here, man. The Return of the Living Dead edition that we were talking about earlier, the Steelbook, it is an AB region release. So if you don't have an all region player, you can still watch it. It's AB. So, and that's the other kind of downer to it. So
sometimes I find those ABs, the ones that are A and B, often the special features are only B.
No, I think they're both AB on this one.
Okay.
I think everything works. Yeah.
So Death Becomes Her, Blood and Lace, and the Troll double feature is slated for November 2015. The rest are coming in 2016. And then we just have a few more things we'll go through really quickly. We have Arrow Video. This is Arrow Video UK. They announced the Scarlet Box, which is the Hellraiser 1 through 3 Super Edition, which fuck, man. I kind of would like that. Like, I know that the Hellraiser films are kind of bad, like, later on, but, dude, those first 3, like, it would be nice to have a little Blu-ray set with them, like, good editions, too. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of
I was like,
features and stuff.
Exactly. At first, I was like, that's, cool. I mean, we've had releases over here in Region 1.
Not Part 3.
Well, yeah, like it wasn't the Cube edition. Didn't have Part 3 in it too.
Yeah, but it's not Blu-ray, is it?
Not Blu-ray.
No. I'm just saying we've had like trilogy releases of Hellraiser. But anyways, so no, I was like, it's Arrow. They're gonna do a great job with this. And then I fucking looked at the price and I was like, what? It's £75 for that fucking box set.
How much is that in dollars?
Like 100.
Canadian, that's 150.
Holy shit, movies. That's way over. What do you think a fair U.S. price for Hellraiser: The Scarlet Box would actually be?
$60.
$60 is fine.
I
Works
feel
out to
like
$20 a film.
I feel like 75 maybe would be the most that it should be.
That's not even that bad. I mean, it's Arrow. They're all probably DVD, Blu-ray, fucking combo packs, features. Yeah, $25 a film, whatever. Plus a nice box set. Sure. I can dig it, but I mean, $150. There's no fucking way that thing's not.
I'm not
sell.
buying that.
£75. That's not gonna fucking sell at all. I'm sorry, but I was like, nope.
Well, it is limited.
Even me is not gonna buy that. There's no fucking way I'm paying.
Wait. Let's mark this down now.
There's no way.
And then we'll see it in another update.
Although I do have a fucking shit ton of points on Arrow on Arrow's site right now, which I might use towards. No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. So, I don't want to stay on that too much because it's not for us. It's for the UK. So fuck that.
Yeah. Well.
After that, we have
an all region player, and then it'll be for you too.
After that, we have an Tenderness of the Wolves. I'm not sure exactly what this film is. It's a German serial killer film. I honestly don't know anything about it, but it is a B release, so it will have a US release. Do you guys know anything about it?
No.
Not so much.
Okay, so we'll just move on from that one. And finally, which I thought was a really fucking cool announcement, that is the Black Cats box set, which actually will have 2 adaptations of Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat, one by Fulci and the other one by Martino.
Sergio Martino.
Yeah, Sergio Martino. And
and that's so awesome, man, because the release of that film, I think it was released by No Shame, in America, and it's so out of print. It's fucking impossible to find. It goes for stupid money. So this is great. This is awesome. This is being released. And you want to name the name of the film? Because
yeah, it's Your Vice is a Locked Room, and Only I Have the Key.
Might be the longest title in cinema history.
Yeah,
but I've wanted this movie forever because I'm such a huge Sergio Martino fan. Like, I love his movies. I have tons of them in all different types of genres, actually. Action, fucking spaghetti westerns, horror films, giallos, fucking everything. Never seen this film because it's impossible to find. This is amazing.
I like the idea of creating a box set just simply based on the fact that they're Edgar Allan Poe adaptations.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
And they call it the Black Cats box set. That's pretty cool. But, you know, I think it should be noted that this set will actually only be a run of 3,000 copies, but, and this is a but that I think a lot of people missed, they will actually both be released separately upon being sold out. So if you don't want to pay the $1 million for the cool box set and cool booklet, you will be able to get both standard releases by themselves afterwards.
I never did see the price on this one. What,
I didn't
like,
either.
did they, oh, okay. I'm not sure.
There's not there was not a North American pre-order link as the announcement was made. It was only a UK. Okay. So I don't think you can really go off the UK price, can you?
I'm assuming this one isn't going to be that much, so I'll probably be, you know, you can mark my words. I'll be grabbing this one. I won't be waiting for the single releases.
I bet it's $50.
He'll still buy it.
Yeah, I can dig it. $50 with the box set and the booklet and the cool shit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I would like it, but I don't know. I don't know if I could.
Yeah. No, man, I've been after this film forever. So fuck. I mean, the thing is, I already have 2 editions of the Black Cat, so I don't know if I need a third one. But so it would probably more, you know, it'd be more obvious just to get the single release of, you know, the Sergio Martino film. But no, fuck it. I'm getting a box set. I'm a hoarder.
Okay, so that will wrap it up for the news, guys.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah. I thought you said the news wasn't going to take very long.
Well, we ended up talking about each one a little bit longer. It took about 45 minutes for the news.
Yeah, that's what I figured. All right, so moving on. Nice. That was cutting me off again like Jeremy always does. Very, very classy.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, there it is. All right, so moving into Moodz Swingz here, and we'll get into the DVD and Blu-ray releases for July 21st, 2015. And I have to say, not too bad. There's a lot of good stuff actually coming up. What's that?
I think it's a little underwhelming, to be honest.
Okay, well, that's because you're an idiot. No, there's actually some pretty good stuff, man. Kino is just, wow, they're releasing so much stuff. It's ridiculous. First off here from Kino, we've got Black Sabbath, of course, Mario Bava's film. This, I believe, is the AIP version, which I think Kino kind of really fucked up with these because, you know, if you buy the Arrow releases of all the Mario Bava films, it comes with both versions and sometimes a third version of the film too. But what Kino did is they released the Italian versions first, and now they're releasing the AIP version. So you actually have to buy 2 editions of the film. That's kind of shitty, really. But for the people out there that want the AIP version, which is the American dub version, different soundtrack or score, and of course it's in English, this is the edition for you. But I do recommend getting the Arrows because they're so much better. Speaking of Arrow, we have another release. This is an American release, of course, and it is called Cemetery Without Crosses. This movie looks fucking fantastic. I don't really know anything about it. I believe
it looks like a Western.
It is a Western, but, you know, they always seem to put out, like, you know, really, really good ones, but looks awesome. Back to Kino. We have a Vincent Price film, which I have actually ordered myself because I've been wanting to see this one forever. And it is House of 1,000 Dolls. Yes. Okay. Yeah, you're right, man. The pre-orders on here are expensive. This one is more expensive on .com than .ca, which is really fucking strange. But yeah, it's a Vincent Price film I've never seen before. Moving along here to Screen Factory, and we finally have the release of I, Madman. I know this is one that people have been waiting for to come out because the DVD's been out of print. And
it was also on your obvious choice list.
It's not really.
Did you mark that one off?
Yeah, it was on the list. I knew this one was going to come out from Scream Factory. Yeah, and you're right, Jeremy. The DVD doesn't go for that much, but some people still passed on it. But, you know, probably for good reasons, because it was kind of an obvious choice that Scream Factory was inevitably going to release I, Madman. I mean, whatever. Yeah, so that's coming out. Of course, non-collector's edition. Next up from Kino, we've got another Vincent Price film with, of course, Peter Cushing, and it's Madhouse. And another film I've been wanting a Region 1 release forever. I know it's got Region 2 releases and stuff, but again from Kino, just killing it. And, of course, The Hoarder and Me, pre-ordered that one also. I will mention this one, even though it's not really a horror film, but Showdown in Little Tokyo is getting a archive collection release. And I believe that these archive Blu-rays are pressed. Are they not?
Yeah.
That seems to be the consensus on this, and that's really interesting. They're pressing up these releases, so it's like a bona fide, legit release now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Only the Blu-rays, though.
That's strange.
Yeah, I know.
Dolph Lundgren, Brandon Lee. It's a good film. It's a fun film. And yeah, moving along here, we got, oh man, what is the deal with Full Moon? Like, I don't even get this. So they released years ago, you know, the first three films.
Subspecies?
Subspecies. Oh my God, it was escaping me for a second. Now they've released Vampire Journals. When is the fourth film going to come out?
Well, if they've released the first three, the fourth film came out after Vampire Journals.
It did.
Actual life. So maybe I know. They consider
this is kind of
part
like
of the series.
It's so strange because this one is actually like it's totally like a spin-off from the.
Yeah, it does have
films.
the same character though. So I mean, it is in the world.
Yeah, it's so bad though. And don't you have like 12 copies of this movie too, JP? Fucking strange.
I've actually seen it more than once as well.
Oh, that's crazy. Next up here, we got a film called What We Do in the Shadows. I believe this is like obviously a comedy, bloody hilarious, from the creators of Flight of the Conchords. Yeah, this one actually was piquing my interest. I was kind of looking at it and reading up on it a little bit, and looks pretty cool, man. Actually, released by Paramount, so I don't really know anything about it. So next up, we've got the second release from the Jess Franco collection from Full Moon. Of course, they're releasing 10 films by Jess Franco. This one's called Barbed Wire Dolls. And you know what you're going to get with Jess Franco. It's going to be really, really bad and lots of nudity. So definitely pick it up for cheap. We've got another one here called Dark by Noon. Yeah,
you know
crickets
what?
on this one.
Before
and it's funny because this is released by Olive.
Before you go to your next one, we have 3 Ghostlies this week, and the next one will probably be the first of 3, right, Moodz?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I actually don't know really anything about this film. It's got Michael O'Flaherty in it.
It's a terrible title.
But Dark by Noon, though, I don't know. Olive releasing some, contemporary stuff. Okay, yeah. The first of some Ghostlies here. The first of the Ghostlies called Haunted Hollywood.
Oh,
and
geez.
of course, but the best thing the best fucking thing about this movie, though, it's starring Eric Roberts, of course.
What else? How does that guy make so many fucking moys? He's in like everything.
They're not hiding shit here, man. It's like the worst Fright Night cover ever, or rip-off cover ever. That reminds me of that. But the tagline, or the quote, "The ghosts are ready for their close-up."
It's like,
God.
what movie is that guy not in?
It just sounds so bad. And of course, it's released by Full Moon. So.
Oh, that's gonna be even worse.
So you pretty much know what you're getting with that one. Now, this next movie, I was like, what the fuck? This has to be one of the worst titles and laziest titles I've ever seen on a film. Like, this is fucking bad. It's called House on the Hill. Really?
You know what? I thought this was a ghostly, but I could be wrong because it's based on the true story of the San Francisco Killer. You know what else, though? Look at the
Could be a
font
ghostly of the San Francisco
House
Killer.
On the Hill. Okay, look at the font. Does that house font not look exactly like the last house on the left font?
On the left? Yeah. I thought the exact same thing, dude. That's good that you brought that up because I was actually going to say that, and it totally does. Wow. This is generic on all levels. And, of course, this is released by an awesome studio called ITN Distribution, because we all know who they are.
They've released some masterpiece Oscar-worthy films right there.
Oh, this is about Leonard Lake, though. That's pretty interesting. I didn't realize that's who that was. Leonard Lake is that guy, Jeremy. I know you recently watched Snuff.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. Thanks.
Yeah, he's in Snuff. So that's one of the stories they talk about. That guy that was kidnapping and raping those girls.
Interesting. Next up, I actually don't mind the art on this film. It's it's pretty bad and shitty, but I like it. It's called The Jokesters. Just got a skull with like half a face.
Who released this one?
See who gets the last laugh. Wow, let's find out who gets last laugh here. Random Media. Is that a real fucking studio?
That?
I doubt it. That's fucking Amazon just putting some shit in their studios.
Yeah,
Random
if Amazon
Media?
Can't find a actual studio that's sending them their shit, they make shit up.
They totally do, because it's at random, right?
Like,
Random
ever see the one
studio.
that's 1-800-MEDIA or something? It's like, what?
I wonder what our movie will be under.
Like, how many fucking times we said that, though? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, so next up, we got oh my god, this one, again, with the most generic title ever. This is getting so bad. Released by E1, and it's called The Orphanage.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. And the cover is beyond bad. It's totally
a little
like
kid
a killer
standing
holding
there with
a
a
knife.
knife. He looks like a ghostly kid, and there's scratchy look to it all. And there's a tricycle, because tricycles are creepy, and you have to, especially when nobody's on the tricycle, that even makes them more creepy.
Because you have to rip off The Shining. You have to have some type of rideable 3-wheeler.
Or Saw.
Or Saw. Yep. You don't want to go there is the tagline.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus, man, I'm fucking terrified, and I'm not going there. Definitely not buying that shit either. So, moving along with the releases, we've got finally coming out here on the 21st, which is American Guinea Pig, Bouquet of Guts and Gore, released by Unearthed Films. And I don't know, is there a 2-disc version of this too? Because this one's the 3-disc limited edition that's going for ridiculous money. It's $28 for this. I think that's a little overpriced, to be honest.
But the main star I'm not a fan of, so I'm not going to watch it.
Who's the main star?
Yeah. The main star?
The person that should not be named.
Yeah, we'll
I don't know
leave
who that is.
Ate the Chosen
Ate the Chosen One. Next up here, we got a film, and I fucking love the cover art on this. I think it's fantastic. Released by Wild Eye. So maybe we might receive this one. I don't know. And it's called Morbid. Really cool cover. I dig it, man. I dig that shit. But
I think a little criticism of Wild Eye real quick. I feel like they don't have a proper release schedule where they let you know in advance. So only with their big titles do they actually send you an email. The other ones you have to find out when they're coming out and then request them, which I don't have a problem with requesting titles, but I don't know about them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. From Girls and Corpses. That already sounds awesome. They present The Meat Puppet.
I think I've heard about this one.
This one actually looks pretty good. I don't know. There's something about it that's just kind of intriguing me. So, it's probably something that'll be in my collection sooner than later. And I believe, there's actually one more. And I believe this is another ghostly. Jesus Christ. And it's called Reminiscence, The Beginning? Renaissance? Or Reminiscence? Oh, I fucking can't pronounce this.
Remnants?
Someone help me out. Reminiscence, The Beginning. I think that's what it is. Reminiscence, The Beginning. And this has to be another ghostly. I mean, look at this shit. So
it's a prequel to a movie that doesn't exist? It's called The Beginning. Come on.
SGI Entertainment. Oh my god! I don't know what's going on.
So many
they even made the fucking tagline unreadable. I can't even read it. What if time breaks down? Oh my god!
Something that I wanted to do for a while here, because I think you just finished up on the releases, correct?
I did, and that is going to conclude the releases for July 21st, 2015.
So I actually wanted to ask you, whenever you do the releases, since it's kind of your thing, if there's one release every week that you would recommend our listeners buying, what do you think it would be?
Well, that's a good idea. Out of the ones that I have talked about this week. For myself, I have to recommend House of $1,000 and Madhouse, the Vincent Price films. Cause,
Nope, don't cheat. Only one.
Okay, so I will recommend this week that everyone goes out and gets Madhouse.
Bam! Sells through the roof.
Yeah, Madhouse is the one you want to pick up this week.
Though, so you can't
See, I can't recommend Black Sabbath the Kino version because for the reasons I mentioned before. I mean, the Arrow edition is just so superior to these, and plus you got to buy both of them, which is not cool, man. That's not cool. So, Madhouse is the pick of the week.
Hey, release pick of the week from Moodz.
New segment.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, it's actually good. Did you just come up with that right now?
I've thought about it for a long time. All right, I'll be honest here. The reason I thought about it was because normally we go to the voicemails right after you do the releases, but since I never know 100% when you're done with the releases, I figured this will let me know. Get the voicemails ready. He's doing his release of the week. So I kind of thought of it for that reason, but I think it also works for just being a cool little thing as well.
Nice. I actually really I like that because you put me on the spot and I had to pick one, and me, I of course I cheated right away.
First thing he says is, well, I would probably do this or this. And I'm like, wait a minute. I just said, what's the one release you would tell everybody to buy?
That's totally me to cheat right away. But of course I was lying. We're obviously going to go with Haunted Hollywood.
Well, I was going to say Vampire Journals.
So
I need the Blu-ray edition.
I really, really don't like that movie.
I only have the 5 DVD editions. So
you need the Blu-ray. You got to get the Blu-ray.
I have it on.
It's probably going to look the same as all of those DVD transfers. Fucking rights. Alrighty, so that is going to conclude the new releases, like I said before, and we'll move along into the voicemails and questions. Do we have any this week?
We actually do have a couple voicemails. I believe both of them are from Derek, and I actually believe that one of the voicemails actually came in while we was recording the show, so I don't have that, so that'll be on the next show.
Okay. Well, he did say that he left 2 a few days ago.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
Oh, well, okay. I meant we have 2 from Derek, and then there was a third one from somebody else, but it came in during the show.
Yeah,
that's what I meant to say.
Oh, shit.
All right, so here is the first one from Derek.
Hey guys, Derek here. Got something different for you guys. I want to talk about a film you guys should all check out that I just watched recently. That everyone should actually check out. Seconds from 1966. It's technically not a horror film, but a dark sci-fi fable brought to us.
Get the fuck out of here.
Frankenheimer. Its main goal purpose of the film is the main character gets a second chance of life, but to extreme extents. I can't really want to get into the story because it's a film that can be spoiled with any mention of the story told within it. All I can say is the film is very dark in nature, but is amazing to look at with its trippy cinematography and camera angles and all that good stuff. Awesome Jerry Goldsmith score. It would be an interesting conversation piece for your show, and hope to hear all your opinions on this film. It is truly fantastic and should be seen by millions. I don't give films 10 out of 10 every day for anything. For any reason, for that matter. Hope to hear your thoughts on it, even maybe hear mine someday soon. Cheers, dudes. P.S. It's wicked awesome.
Well, thank you, Derek.
That film.
That has to be like the most melodic voicemail I've heard in so long. He was very precise, and he'd pause, and it was so calculated. And yeah, man, I wish I had have thought about that, or even got this voicemail before, because I actually just made a Barnes & Noble, Criterion order. So I bought 4 titles, and I was like, "Yeah, that's enough. I think I'm done for this sale." So But that is one I'll put on the list for sure. It sounds great. It really does. I like the premise.
Criterion
cool.
put it out. It must be good.
It has. That's the thing, man. If there's one company that you don't feel, bad about blind buying films, is probably Criterion, because you're going to get something really, really fucking good.
Yeah.
The majority of the time. So, but yeah, thanks for the voicemail, Derek. We'll definitely be putting that on the list. I want to check it out.
Yeah,
Looks cool.
1966.
I never knew what the fuck it was about, because I'd always see the cover of that, and it just doesn't really give anything away. Like, you have no idea what it's about when you look at the cover. So, yeah.
All right. So after that, we will play our second voicemail from Derek, which, cool leaving two voicemails in right back to back. I got both of them at the same time, I think.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Coming soon in true full screen. Hey guys, I'm back again with another question. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I got a question.
God.
It's gonna be, what is the worst film from your favorite country that's listed on your About section on your 22 Shots and Moves website? Also, what's your favorite films that take place in your home state or hometown? That'd be interesting, guys. Hope to hear back. Wicked awesome.
Ooh, great question with the home state thing. But
Yeah.
so the first thing was, what's the worst film you've seen from your favorite country, which is on our About section on the website, which I haven't finished yet. But so what's yours, Moodz?
Worst film from, so I guess it would be Italy, right? Oh man.
Yeah, this one's hard too. I have to
See, that's a very subjective question, because man, there's some bad films that I like, but like bona fide bad films. I would probably have to say, oh fuck, maybe like, I think it's something I actually reviewed on the podcast. I was thinking
you gave a certain Italian film like a 2 or 3 before, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, and the title's actually escaping me right now, which I cannot believe I can't remember the title. I remember, SS Experiment Camp.
Oh yeah, that one was awful. Huh?
That's what it just came to me. Yeah, that's
but even had its moments.
It did, man. There was a couple moments in the film that literally made me bust into tears laughing. I was pissing myself.
Is that the one with the penis?
Yeah.
Yeah,
cut off his dick or something.
Oh fuck, dude! Like, there's so much just ridiculousness going on in the film, but it's such a bad movie. It's fucking horrible. But yeah, I would probably, that's honestly the first thing that came into my mind. I mean, there's obviously some really, really bad Italian films, but that one sticks out, man, as being a terrible film, which is on the video nasty list, of course, for probably the penis shit and, just the, the experiments on women and stuff. But yeah, SS Experiment Camp, fucking terrible, awful film.
Jeremy?
I don't know. This is hard because I don't think
Jeremy's saying the French, it's impossible for him to make a bad film.
Oh, French-Canadian? There's some bad French-Canadian films. No, I'm not being funny. I'm just saying there are some, like, Silent Hill Revelations. That's French-Canadian.
I don't think that counts as French films.
It's French-Canadian.
It's just they speak French. It's not from the country of France.
It's funny, man. I've seen French film lists before, and it incorporates, films that were produced in Quebec and in France too. Even though it is completely different, they speak different French. But I don't know.
I guess
I don't really know
Malfurique
much.
Isn't that good?
Well, the problem is with this is the reason that we see French films is because they pick the good ones to show us. It's not like the bad French films are getting released over here, because that would be pointless. Mine is USA. Anybody want to take a stab in the dark?
Beneath the Mississippi.
Yes. You, sir, are correct. Beneath the Mississippi. The worst of the worst horror films ever made. And I challenge anybody to argue any different.
Yeah, how many times has that movie been brought up, man? Oh
yeah,
my
I know.
God.
And we've never actually reviewed it or rated it. Let's move on. So, what is Moodz? I guess you don't have a state. It's a province, correct?
Yes.
So what's
Yes.
your favorite horror movies that take place in your province?
Well, I mean, obviously the answer is very, very obvious. I mean, to be honest, there isn't really a shit ton of horror films that come from BC. I mean, more mainstream stuff. There's a lot of independent stuff, but I mean, without a question, in my mind, it's Gutterballs from Ryan Nicholson.
Oh yeah.
Ryan just lives, pretty close to me, and yeah. So everything that Ryan's done, I mean, Gutterballs is actually shot all in Surrey and stuff in the bowling alley, which unfortunately is not there anymore. It's like a home and gardening type bullshit. I was talking with Ryan at HorrorCon, and he was all bummed out about it too. It's shitty because they had to shoot Gutterballs 2 actually in a bowling alley in Washington. And so that kind of sucked. He was kind of bummed out, but yeah, bona fide Gutterballs. I mean, we haven't really like a lot of mainstream ones. I can think of Dreamcatcher maybe, if that counts as a horror. I don't know. That was shot in my hometown actually. So yeah, Gutterballs. Gotta go with Gutterballs.
Jeremy, I know you have a lot to pick from. What about you?
This is hard. Let's see. You have Candyman, Child's Play, Henry, Poltergeist 3. What else do we have? The Relic. I think that was shot.
Fuck! I didn't know that, dude.
What?
I had no idea. I didn't know Poltergeist 3 was actually shot in Chicago.
Yeah.
Cool. I know it takes place, right? But I didn't realize it was actually shot there. Interesting.
Child's Play would be a cop-out answer.
I think it's the correct answer because he asked like, "What's your favorite?" Right?
Yeah, I guess
it
Child's
just so
Play.
happens.
Yeah, I think
Candyman.
Candyman like really like sets the mood from the location, so I think that's a good pick as well. Okay, so mine, I mean, there was a lot of movies that were either filmed or take place in Pennsylvania. Everything from August Underground to The Happening. I would probably say that the ones that I'm most a fan of, and it should come as no surprise because it's more on the western side of Pennsylvania, notably Pittsburgh, which is where I'm mostly from, below Pittsburgh. I would have to say that the Romero trilogy is mine, because I mean, they literally are, set in Pennsylvania, filmed in Pennsylvania. Tom Savini's from Pennsylvania. It's a definite, dream team. And most notably, they're from Pittsburgh. So that's a big thing because I mean like Philadelphia is a completely different like world to me, like the Philly lifestyle and like the different it's just different. It's almost like Pennsylvania's two states. There's like the East and the West, but I would probably say that the Romero trilogy, and also I mean all of fucking Romero's other films take place in Pennsylvania too. So yeah, that's my answer.
Just before everyone starts barking down our throat, making comments about BC and shit like that, I just want to state, that the Suska sisters are from Vancouver also. Yeah. So I didn't overlook, American Mary and stuff like that, and Dead Hooker in a Trunk and their films. Yeah, I just wanted to mention, they are from here, and and all that good stuff. And
that's why I could even 6.
In grade 6, yeah. Even mentioning the Masters of Horror, pretty much every episode was filmed around Vancouver area too, which is really cool. So, but yeah, there is actually quite a bit of stuff. But like I said, Ryan Nicholson, hands down, Gutterballs. Just wanted to mention the Suska sisters because they're sexy and hot.
Yeah, Suska. So
yeah, the Suska.
I believe actually we have the rare topic from Moodz Swingz. This is a segment I like to call. We actually don't have a name for it, but we could call it Knowledge if you want.
Knowledge.
Yeah, this is where we talk about some random shit.
Some random shit.
Let's see if Jeremy, we remember that we just talked about an hour ago.
Yeah. Well, someone posted on our, I believe it was Adrian. He posted something that was, and actually specified that we talk about it on the podcast because it was actually quite interesting.
You ask and we do.
Yeah, and it's about a company, a film production company out of Italy. And, I'm really, really a big fan of the company, films, the films, And he posted this thing having to do with, a fan that had reviewed a film. And basically what happened was the PR guy for Necrostorm, which I'll name now, basically saw the review and really got pissed off because it was a negative review. And it wasn't even so much that it was a negative review. He just said a few negative things and he got all offensive and actually kind of flagged the video and got him a strike on his channel and blah, 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 because it was solely a negative review. Now, Jesus fucking Christ, where do we start with this, man? This is ridiculous. I mean,
so
first
let me ask this: was it a press copy that the dude reviewed, or was he just a fan who?
No. He reviewed the game.
Okay.
Necrostorm's coming out with a video game. There was a beta on their website. He downloaded the beta and he YouTubed himself playing it. And Necrostorm got pissed off and copyrighted, striked his channel because they thought that he didn't have the right to record and upload this game footage to this beta onto his channel.
It was actually it was about the game too, and it was also about I think he had talked about the movie Infidus that just came out from them too, and he said things like, because Necrostorm claims that the guys that were starring in the film are actual real criminals, they just got out of jail, blah blah blah, and he said, hey, I saw this guy in Hotel Inferno, that's bullshit, blah blah blah, and they got super offended even about him talking about Infidus. So, and then Jeremy, continue.
So they copyrighted his channel and he emailed them and asked them why he got a copyright strike. And he was polite about it. He asked them, he went to the forums to make sure there wasn't any rules about uploading gameplay and all this. And they emailed him back a really nasty, not a nasty response, but a very smart aleck response. And he got really mad about this, and he uploaded a video on YouTube just absolutely destroying Necrostorm and saying some pretty mean things. And they ultimately saw the video, and
after a bunch of emails had already passed back and forth.
Yeah.
And then in the video that he makes, he's like, well, and this is when they saw my video, and then everything kind of shifted gears a little bit.
So they emailed him, and they said some pretty insulting things about America and fat people and all this kind of stuff that they shouldn't probably be saying. And he even said that he was wrong for uploading this video, being mean to Necrostorm and all this kind of stuff. And, he apologized for that, but they just kept on being assholes about it and thinking that they were, bigger and better than what, let's be honest, what they truly are, Oh, we've sold millions of dollars in movies and stuff like that. Well, you have a pretty...
Yeah, the attitude came across like,
we're better than you.
Yeah,
like
we're better
elitist?
than you and fuck you. Totally. I mean, they're an independent company, and I understand where they're coming from too, because they are independent. When they do sell copies from their website, they're retaining pretty much all that money, because they are the people that run Necrostorm are the directors, and they're all involved. Like, it's their shit, so they're making technically a lot of money from us that are buying these films. They're taking all that money in, so yeah, they're probably doing pretty well for themselves, but it just came across as very, very douchey. And it really sucks to say, because I love every film from Necrostorm I've actually reviewed to date. Luckily, I haven't given a bad review yet, because I fucking love their movies. Like Adam Chaplin, Tater City, Hotel Inferno, Judy I loved, which was kind of an outside film. And their new one, Infidus, which is like a revenge film. It's really kind of cool with two stories. But I'll get into that some other time. But yeah, I was very disappointed in hearing the way they kind of alienated their fans and just, we're better than you, fuck America, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
and the guy's not even American, which is even funny. He's
yeah,
from the
and
UK.
that was the funny thing. They're like, fuck America, you guys are fat fucks, blah, blah, blah. And then Buddy's like, dude, I'm not even American, man. And this is after they even seen the video, which is so much more ignorant. I mean, really, like, someone that, is from the UK instantly. Come on.
Yeah.
That's fucking ridiculous. He's not American. It was so fucking ignorant. I was just like, I lost a lot of respect for Necrostorm after this. And I was like, that fucking sucks, man.
You should. I mean, if everything that's being told is, accurate, to even get to the level where they insult, let's say the guy was American, or it doesn't even matter if he was or wasn't, to the fact that they're insulting in that way for a company, that's supposed to have like this higher standing where they're not supposed to drop down to that level on the internet. That's a shame, dude. That's some terrible stuff.
But it's this one guy. We don't know who this guy is. I'm not saying that what he did, the guy who was emailing, was right, but it was just one guy. I don't think one person says something. I understand that it illustrates what the whole company is about.
But if it's your PR guy, then it does reflect.
But I think also, from what I kind of gathered from it too, apparently you're not allowed to say anything bad like on the forums or any type of bad video reviews and stuff. They do go after you.
So what they're
like,
trying
you can't say
to
shit
do
about our shit.
It's
ridiculous, man. It's not like Dustin Mills or fucking Ryan Nicholson and shit like that. I mean, like Ryan, I consider a buddy of mine. Like he's a cool guy. Honestly, I gave a pretty shitty review to Live Feed the exact weekend I met him at Orcon. And Ryan's like, it's all good, man. It's all good. It was an early film of mine. He's like, I respect your opinion and stuff. And I was like, man, I feel kind of shitty, but that's just the way I feel. And he's like, totally cool, dude. So he didn't like fucking attack me. It's just an opinion. Yeah. These guys are taking their shit way too fucking serious, man. Way too fucking serious. These type of films, especially the type of films that they are creating, are not for everybody. They are totally unique and interesting, but they're not for everybody. And you have to expect you're going to get all types of different criticisms, especially for these type of films, and you just can't take it to heart, man. Necrostorm, stop alienating your fans. It's fucking ridiculous, guys. And I was so pissed off when this thing came out because I had just got the new film in the mail, which I had ordered from Necrostorm out of Italy, like I have with all their other films. And I'm going, fuck, man, what the fuck, And they're not cheap.
Well, one thing that I will say is the company deserves to feel a little backlash from this, if anything, because when you do stuff like that, you have to be held accountable. So the link to that live leak video will be in the description of this video for you guys to check it out. I feel like the main thing is just the tactic of bullying or pushing back against criticism, which no company should ever do, because you're putting your product out there to be judged, right? Like once you sell it to somebody, or you make it available to stream via some sort of purchase or anything like that, you cannot have a bullying mentality of forcing people to take their videos down or creating copyright claims or anything like that. I mean, it's fine to argue with somebody who has a piss poor opinion about your quality of release, but it's different when you sort of attack the people who are having a negative opinion because you're afraid that it's going to affect your sales. It's not because the guy was like
precisely
that you didn't understand the movie or something, right? It wasn't that. Yeah. It was that they were mad because they thought that it was a negative review and it would affect them negatively.
And that's exactly what it was about. I mean, like Jeremy saw it too, and it's blatant. They were talking about sales, and it's so blatant, and they were just like, in so many words, they're just like, your reviews are possibly going to affect our blah, blah, blah. We sold this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fuck, man, like, settle the fuck down. That's all I got from it. I was like, that's ridiculous. I've never seen anybody react like this over something so minuscule. I mean, just leave it alone. I mean, more people are going to see your reaction to this guy's fucking video than people are actually going to watch the original review.
I hope a lot of people see this video.
So basically, by you responding in that negatory way, you just created a shitstorm for yourself, because all you did was put it out there for more people to see. I mean, I don't know how big this guy's channel is or whatever. Maybe a lot of people do see it, but I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know who this YouTuber is, and I know the story now because of what happened with this PR guy.
Yeah, and a couple hundred people.
All you did was fuck yourself over.
Know as well.
All they did was fuck themselves over, and like, it fucking sucks, dude. Because I'm such a big fan of the company, and I'm like torn. I'm like, I don't know, man. Fuck. Yeah. I wish it was easier to get over here. I mean, like Buddy even said, he goes, I recommend people, if you want to still buy the films, because I still kind of recommend them, get them from Diabolic DVD when they have them. But they don't always carry the products. Like, they don't even have the new film right now. You can't even get it. You have to get it from Italy. Mm-hmm. So, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's all I got to say on that. I don't want to, spend a whole lot of time just tearing into him. It's unfortunate, man. It's really, really sad that this shit actually happens. You know, it's ridiculous. I mean, I thought we lived in a fucking world that, opinions can be accepted time to time. I mean, we do it every day, dude. We get criticized. We
I don't even
take it,
delete.
we don't respond.
I don't even delete my comments on YouTube that say like, "I'm a Freddie Mercury wannabe faggot."
Yeah, I mean, it's like, dude, that is pretty funny.
Like, you could go to my video right now, my recent Society review, and that comment's still on there.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, but it also comes from one of the biggest trolls in the fucking world.
A piece of shit, really.
Piece of fucking shit. So it is laughable. But, this whole thing is unfortunate, man, I have to say. But it is what it is, I guess, man. If that's the way they feel, that's the way they're going to respond, so.
And that was terrible. Knowledge.
Yeah.
2 new segments in 1 episode.
Look at this, man. We're creating as we're going. We're flowing. We are flowing. But yeah, continue along with Moodz Swingz, and I guess we'll get into the Corners Report. Weird stats and morbid facts, courtesy Rue Morgue. I grabbed a random one this week. This one is it's the January-February issue of Rue Morgue from 2012. It's the one with the woman in black on the cover, Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah, I can't believe that made the cover. It's pretty crazy. But I was kind of reading through them, and there's not really. This is actually kind of the weaker Corners Report I've ever seen. But I don't know. I thought this was actually kind of interesting, and I know since JP, you're such a big Stephen King fan, I thought it was just kind of interesting that this is a quote from him. But anyway, Stephen King once said that every author of suspense should write at least one tale about a ghostly room at an inn. Do you agree with the statement? Do you agree with that?
I guess so.
It's Stephen King, man. Like, how do we disagree with the man, Stephen King?
I know, dude.
It's so hard. I read it and I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's good. That's good. It's kind of funny too, since we just talked about so many ghostlies in the new releases.
It's a classic tale, though. It really is, right? I mean, it's a tale that's been told for a long time, so it makes sense that everybody should kind of tackle it.
Exactly. So, but yeah, on that note, that's going to conclude Moodz Swingz. Yeah. Alrighty, so moving along into the what we watch portion of the show. Yeah. What did we watch this week, guys? Who wants to go first?
Jeremy.
Nope.
JP, why don't you start us off?
Me?
Yeah, what? Fucker, I always go first. Kiss my ass.
I like when you go first. Okay, so I guess I'll talk about All-American Bully from 2011, coming to us courtesy of Wild Eye Releasing. So, first of all, I noticed in Moodz's review that he pointed out the fact that the cover is very misleading. And I was a little bummed because that's the movie I wanted to see. I wanted to see a movie on a school shooting. And it really wasn't. So
no, it was nothing about that.
Yeah,
well,
the
cover
was so misleading, man.
There was a shooting, and it was involving school kids.
But just not in school.
It's not in school.
Yeah. Okay. So, actually, let's do the IMDb description. Every 7 seconds in America, a child is victimized by a bully. Adults who witness these attacks will only intervene 4% of the time. 11% of the time, a friend will come to the victim's aid and become a victim themselves. Wow, that's a good description of the movie.
In a really extreme way.
So yeah, this film follows a couple of high school students, one of which is bullied by a former friend. Then, they kind of get revenge on the bully by teasing to reveal a secret about the bully, and that kind of sends him over the edge. And I'll kind of leave the story at that. So I know that you guys have both seen this film as well. I actually watched it twice. The first time I watched it with a group, and I missed a lot of things, so I decided to watch it again. I know that Jeremy mentioned that his impression of Adrian King's part was kind of weak.
Terrible.
And I agree, man. Adrienne
It was
King,
horrendous.
I was excited when I seen her attached to it, and it did not deliver. One, I don't really. Okay, is it just me, or does her story, like, what was?
What
I
point?
didn't get it.
What fucking point does it have between the teacher and the kid? What does that have to the story between?
Well,
our
I don't
main
know
character?
what it was that she was upset about.
All she is,
the
she's a fucking bully herself.
Was she upset her son was gay or something?
Yeah.
Because it didn't come off
and-
that way.
And the way I see it, like, this sub-story or the subplot in this film makes no sense. It doesn't even have an ending to it either. It's just kind of there in the film to fill time, which is unfortunate. But yeah, she is the principal of the school, and she feels, the way I interpreted it was, she feels, obviously she's totally against her son being gay, but the way I saw it was, she was pissed off at the teacher, and she's like, and she makes a comment in the film on the lines of, your people shouldn't be allowed to teach. And
she's
first
like,
I was
what
wow.
people I'm
I was
talking
like, wow,
about.
that's really fucking racist because the teacher happens to be black. But then I kind of realized right after she said it, I was like, whoa, it actually isn't regarding his race. It's actually because I think the teacher was gay himself. And what he had done, he'd probably talked to her son and said, hey, man, it's okay. It's okay to be gay. Don't worry about what other people think.
Which
they don't exploit that in the film at all.
Oh, I thought they were
together. You kind of have to read the line, and I kind of thought that too a little bit too. And I was like, what the fuck?
That.
But they don't explore it.
See,
but
that's exactly what I thought.
Okay,
yeah,
so
see, the way I took it was, the teacher totally just allowed the son to be himself, and and there's nothing wrong with that. And of course, Adrienne King's character's fucking
because they got in the
piece
car,
of shit.
They got in the car together, so I thought like, oh, maybe they're doing it or something.
So the way that Moodz just explained it is the way that it should have been on film, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how you properly go through that subplot arc. The problem is they probably only had Adrienne King for a day, and they didn't have time to shoot the whole thing. So I have a feeling that that's probably what the original intention was. Although
it really hurts the film, though. This subplot makes no fucking sense.
It does. I actually know that I actually thought the acting wasn't as bad as most people. I thought that the bully actually delivered a decent performance in the in the emotional state towards the end, the climax of the film. I was like, wow, it kind of works for me. But I didn't really have a huge issue with the acting at all. I also
funny because I really pointed that out in my review, didn't I? About how much I thought the acting really hurt the content of the film because, we all understand that bullying and stuff is a major part of, society now, and especially with cyberbullying because it's exploited so quick and everybody knows what happens the next day, like how they showed in the film. I thought that was okay.
I didn't buy that chick being a bully or
I just didn't
hanging
buy
out with that
the acting.
kind of people.
I don't know.
Wait, you didn't buy the chick being a nerd? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. That chick was actually pretty hot.
She was okay looking. Yeah.
But honestly, the kid wasn't that nerdy either. Like the main character. Like honestly, I found it to be. I honestly hate like the bullying thing sometimes because to me, I look at, and when I watch a film like this, I watch how many opportunities you could have just punched dude in the face, or like you're his same size. The dad even kind of comments on that, like, you fought back, didn't you, son? And he's like, whoa, no, dude, and I hate that, dude. I always have hated that, and I just wish that, like, I don't know, but it is true to life though, because people won't stand up for themselves, so I don't really know. There's like one big, like, kind of, sudden change of, I guess it's not a twist.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
What doesn't make sense? Are you talking about the climax moment?
Yeah.
I think it makes good sense. Like, I thought it worked good.
I don't think anybody would act like that in that situation.
Well, they are all coked out.
He's trying to prove a point. He's trying to prove a point because when they exploited the bully and why he was a bully to the other character, what he does in the climax is he's just trying to prove a point that he's not gay, without spoiling the whole thing, by doing what he did, and that's what he's trying to prove there. I mean, it's so extreme and it's such a change in feel in the film, and everything that happens right there, like it kind of happens all of a sudden.
Comes
you're
out
like,
of nowhere.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
but
I like that.
But
it
if you
came
really
out of
do
nowhere.
think about
it feels like it goes to an extreme, like in 2 seconds, and it's like as soon as she says it, it's like whoa. And I like that. I like the very, very end of the film as well, like the last shot. One thing that I didn't like was the incestuous relationship that's going on in the film. I didn't buy it at all. I thought it was unbelievable. Did not work at all for me. And it's just, I felt like it was stupid.
You know,
to be honest.
They tried to connect the dots a little bit, of course, when that comes out, you know, with the incestual relationship and stuff, and why he was reacting to, you know, being exploited and blah, 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 and the whole thing in the climate. Like, things do kind of add up and connect, but it is kind of extreme, but it's so all of a sudden. It's like, holy shit, you're getting all this type of information and stuff all at once. You're like, I don't know, man, if it really does work properly.
One thing...
But that's just the way I kind of saw it. I was like, I don't know about
and
this.
I don't want to stay on this too long, so I'll throw out my rating. But one thing that I will say, that while I was watching it, I had this kind of funny moment where the kid, you know, just got beat up. He goes up to his dad and says, you know, I want to go to school today. And his dad's like, no, stay home. You're all beat up and stuff. And he's like, no, can you drive me to school? And I'm like, wait a minute. This guy's in a wheelchair. How's he going to drive him to school? Fortunately, they actually did show in another shot the guy getting out of one of those lift things on the van. And I was like, bravo, Wild Eye, bravo.
Yeah.
But my rating for this film is a solid 5.5 out of 10. What about you guys?
I gave it a 4.5 out of 10.
You gave it a 4.5?
Yeah.
I believe I also gave it 5.5 out of 10 in my review. I think that's what I gave it. So, like I said, man, there was just
inappropriate uses of music.
I didn't see it at all, but I know you two did. So.
I didn't really notice the music a whole lot.
And I paid attention.
I think I was just focusing on other things, but yeah, 5.5. I think that's what I gave it. So, I don't know. There was just certain things in this film, but. Anyways, if you want my full thoughts, just check out the review, I guess.
Same here.
So, but yeah.
Jeremy.
All right, I'll go next. So, I guess I'll talk about this one, considering that it's a movie that, you know, some people have talked about of not liking, and I don't understand why they don't like it. I know, you know, Tom from the Horrors Ball, he really enjoys this movie, and I thought it was pretty fucking cool also. And that is the movie from Ireland called From the Dark, which was released by Dark Sky Films a few months ago. And this is a really, really interesting vampire film. We follow this couple, you know, generic story on this part. You know, they're driving, they're going somewhere, and their car breaks down. The guy goes to find somebody who has a phone to call for help, and he comes across this house. And in the beginning of the film, the first, you know, the opening shot, we see this guy digging up this hole in this ground, comes across this grave of this vampire with this stake. He, you know, shit starts to go wrong. This guy ends up getting bit by this vampire, so that's the house that the guy ends up at. And he notices that he's acting strange. He goes back to get his girlfriend, fiance, wife, whatever, and he brings her back to the house, and that's where shit starts to go wrong with this vampire. And it's a very interesting use between using light and darkness, because when they're in the light, this guy can't end up hurting the couple, and then when they're in the darkness, he can. So it's a very interesting battle between light and darkness, and trying to be in the light and not trying to be in the light. And you know, 3 characters throughout the entire film, and these 3 characters had been carrying the entire film. I thought the main girl, did a pretty good job at carrying the film pretty much for the entire running time. The guy, I'm not going to spoil it, but, you know, he's not that big of a deal halfway through the film. So this girl pretty much has to carry the film and try to survive by finding light and finding all these different light sources to survive until dawn, because if she survives until dawn, you know, she's probably going to be okay. So, you know, I don't know why this movie has gotten so much shit. I found it really interesting, this light and dark scheme that I really haven't seen too much in vampire films, especially in the film that it's dedicated to the light and darkness kind of stuff. And I thought it was played in an interesting way. So if you guys get a chance to pick it up, I think you guys should check it out. I really, really did like it. I thought it was a cool story and a cool take on the vampire film. So if you guys find it for cheap, pick it up. 8 out of 10 from the dark.
I've heard so many mixed reviews on that one. Some people said they hated it, and others that really enjoyed it. So I'm curious.
Yeah, me as well.
Sounds pretty interesting. Yeah, first up here, what I watched in this past week here is a film from 2009. It's a Japanese film, and it's called Samurai Princess. Of course. This one, it's basically one of those very kind of typical Japanese surreal type, ridiculous, over the top, batshit crazy films.
They're samurai.
Samurai Princess. Yeah, exactly. Basically, the setting of this film, it kind of takes place I think it's supposed to be futuristic. It takes place in this alternate universe type deal, where basically humans, they live with kind of these robots, these robots that whatever.
Wait, robots?
They're just
You're not going to call them robots?
Robots. And they exclusively live with them and stuff. So basically what happens is, some of these robots and stuff, they start going batshit crazy and start fucking tearing up society. They start, massacring humans and shit like that. So basically this mad scientist, he obviously knows about this, and he creates a samurai princess, from basically 11 slayed girls and stuff like that. He kind of puts this, princess together, and she kind of has all the souls of all these these humans and stuff in her. Anyways, ultimately she's the ultimate samurai princess, and what her goal is, why he makes her, is so she can go and slay and kind of protect humanity from falling. That's their whole deal. So very simple kind of premise to the film, but what you're going to get with this one is just a bunch of ridiculous batshit crazy Japanese stuff. I mean, there's a great quote on the back of this Blu-ray where it says, "Rocket feet, scissor legs, and yes, breast grenades." So it's got that whole feel to it where it's just everything is ridiculous, a lot of mechanical things that are going on, and everything is over the top. The gore, the acting, just the whole body parts, and there's just so much going on in this film. It's every scene is an action scene with so much fucking gore and blood and just funny shit that's going on. Like I said, it's basically just her against the world, and she's just tearing up shit. Pretty awesome stuff. The interesting thing about this movie is the way it's shot. It looks so surreal. I don't know if it's the transfer on Blu-ray, the 1080p transfer, but at times the background almost seems like it's fake,
is it in true full screen?
yeah, but everything is real that they shot in. They didn't use green screens and stuff like that, but it appears like that at times. It seems like it's fake, but until they move, and then I don't know if it's just a transfer on this, but it's almost so clear that it's kind of surreal, but it really does add to the whole atmosphere and the whole premise of the film because it's so over the top and ridiculous. But what a fucking blast, man. So much fun with this film. If you guys films Machine Girl and Tokyo Gore Police and Robo Geisha and shit like that, zombie ass, Toilet of the Dead, shit like that, you'll really enjoy this type of film because everything is over the top, but it's one of those films that you throw on, you have a beer, and you just enjoy it, man. It's just, you can't take it serious, but it's fucking fun as hell, man. There's so much funny shit going on in this. I was pissing myself. I have to say the Japanese are so creative with things like that, breast grenades and just the way they kill people and body parts, the usage of everything in the film. They incorporate everything. It's such a fucking blast. But I love the setting and the atmosphere of it because it just feels so damn futuristic but surreal at the same time. It's awesome. I love it. And the samurai princess herself, she's gorgeous. She's fucking fantastic. Does a great job in the film. Not really a whole lot to say about it. It's one of those films you just gotta have to enjoy, and I give it 7 out of 10. It's a fucking blast. Really fun film.
Those are actually probably my least favorite kind of films in general. Is the over the top all those ones you named, as you named them down the list from Zombie Ass to Machine Girl and all those. I really never get those ones that much.
Have you seen any of those films though?
I've seen Zombie Ass, and I've seen that one short in ABC's of Death.
Oh yeah, that was the same director that did Zombie Ass.
Yeah,
The Fart.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh yeah,
really
Fart
like
is ridiculous, but
see,
I love when they incorporate. I don't know. I'm a big fan of these ridiculous Japanese films, man.
Yeah,
they are an acquired taste. I won't lie, they definitely are. But they're so much fun, and the thing I like about them is that they're really creative, man. Who the fuck who writes a script with zombies coming out of assholes and breast grenades and fucking farting and all their movies are so ridiculous, man. They're so much fun. But yeah, I mean, like I said, they're an acquired taste, and yeah, they're not for everybody. Yeah, apparently not for JP. So
yeah, I mean, there's some stuff like that I like, but it's not what I go to and seek out.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, so I guess back to me.
Yep.
The film that I'm going to talk about next is coming to us courtesy of Artsploitation. This is from the Netherlands, and it is titled Reckless. This is actually based on the disappearance of Alice Creed. From what I understand, because me and Moodz have both not seen this, but I know Jeremy has seen the disappearance of Alice Creed. It's a remake, right?
Correcto, shot-by-shot remake.
Okay, so it's like a real close remake. Just same film, different language, different actors, type stuff. It follows two ex-cons who kidnap a millionaire's daughter and hold her for ransom, only to see their scheme go awry when she proves herself to be more cunning than expected. So, one thing I gotta say, I really was enjoying this film, and I was like, this is good stuff. And I knew a lot about the disappearance of Alice Creed because I've heard it talked about in other reviews a few years ago. So I knew that I wanted to see that film for a while. So I was like, okay, well, now I'm kind of seeing that film, but from a different country or whatever. And as it was going, I was really into it. And it did a few things at the end of the film that literally dropped my rating by like 1 or 1.5 to 2 points. I was really bummed at how the film played out. They set up characters. Obviously, the girl is the victim. There is a lot of twists and turns in the film, and some of them...
Which I really enjoyed, man.
I did too, because I only seen some of them coming. And I liked that about it. And even when the ones that I did see coming, I still thought were executed in a better way than I had pictured. So, check 2, check 3, all good stuff there. However, once you learn a few things about some of the characters, it really betrays how you're supposed to feel about the characters. And I feel like the ending that they chose, because they end the film a couple different times almost, it kind of doesn't make sense for what you then learn about all of the characters. And I feel like there was a better ending. And I will say the ending to another film that we may talk about, The Treatment, the very end of it, is what I was expecting in this film. And those of you who've seen both films, which would only be Moodz and Jeremy, I guess, probably can piece together the ending that I would have liked for this film, which is Reckless. But overall, I mean, it is a good movie. I definitely enjoyed it. I loved the one of my favorite things is the very beginning when they're setting up for what happens, where they're buying duct tape and stapling things to the walls. Like, that was shot really well. That's some good stuff. I love those setup scenes like that. Yeah. Those establishing scenes, establishing the story and what's going on. Like, I'm a sucker for that stuff. I've always been a sucker for those type of scenes. Same thing with Freddy making his glove, or Leatherface, in Chainsaw 3 or whatever. Like, I love that stuff. What did you guys think of this one?
I wasn't a huge fan of the disappearance of Alice Creed, to be completely honest. It wasn't my favorite film. I found it boring in some points. And this one being similar, I had the same problems with it on that point. But what Moodz? You're shaking your head.
No, I never found myself bored at all in this film. I thought it was actually really well executed for only having 3 characters in the entire film. And I was worried at first. I was like, okay, we're only going to see 3 characters. I was like, okay.
And
I found it, like, the way it was executed, and I think I said in my review that I actually posted today that they incorporate the first twist about 20... almost a half an hour in the film. It was like all of a sudden you get the first one. I was like, holy fuck. I'm like, okay. And then there's another one. And then, like, I think it was just kind of the way they did that. It was executed well enough to keep you kind of intrigued. Now you're like, okay, now this kind of changes directions a little bit. And then there's another one. And I was like, fuck, man, it's not bad. I was really entertained.
Like I said in my review, I think the actors in this film carried out the roles a lot better than the disappearance of Alice Creed. I thought the actors in that film was a little weak. But I think in this film they're a lot better, and I think they're more suitable for the roles, and I definitely see that.
It was definitely casted very well. I think all 3 actors and the actress did a very, very good job. Like, I thought they looked right. They
were all good for their roles because they were all so different.
Yeah, the Vincent, or whatever how his name, Victor. He was intimidating, right? There's a lot of good scenes of suspense where you know that he's like this reckless maniac that'll reckless.
I called him the alpha male.
Yeah, he's definitely the alpha male. And he, they even play on that a little bit later in the film once one of the other twists are revealed. But he definitely has like there's scenes of suspense. There's like this commanding nature about him. The girl, I feel like, she has this good look to her, like in the face actually, that fits the role very, very well. I don't know, why that is, but I just felt like she was perfect for the type of girl that they wanted. Like, and I don't know, like my main problems comes with the multiple twisted ending that I just felt like they ended it wrong. They really did end this film wrong. They ended it without the balls that I wanted them to end it with, based on how they set their characters up.
Interesting. I actually stated that I really enjoyed the ending. I kind of liked the way it went down, and
I'll tell you what I mean.
Obviously, there is something there that doesn't completely add up. I do agree with that, but at the same time, maybe it's meant to be, kind of hidden a little bit. I don't know.
Well, the problem was they set up a better ending right before it, and I was like, okay, but I don't think they was ever thinking to end it like that. That's the problem. I'll tell you what I mean exactly, and it might clue you in a little bit better. My rating on this film is a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I don't know if you watched my review, but I gave the exact same review as 7 out of 10.
I didn't watch the review for this one yet.
Yeah, I posted late last night when I got home from work, so it's only been up for a few hours. But yeah, 7 out of 10 is actually what I gave it to.
What about you, Jeremy?
Interesting.
6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
So yeah, we were relatively in the same boat. I think I didn't mention in my review now when I think about it, but I focus more on the things that I liked, which I generally do. But for some reason I didn't mention this, but I thought there was like a couple decisions made in the film, like kind of in the middle part, that I just didn't buy for a second. And all I'll say is with a gun shell, there's a couple decisions.
I love that. I thought it was funny though.
and I'll talk about it in the bathroom, and I'm just like, dude, it is so tiny. There's a million places to put this thing. And it was kind of bugging me how he was struggling with what to do with it. And I was and then ultimately what he did with it, I was like, well, okay, that makes sense. But at the same time, you could have also done something else.
I'll tell you right now, this will get you to change your mind about that scene. When I was like 13, I was smoking in the attic of my friend's house. His mom came home. There's a million places in the attic to put a cigarette out. But I didn't know what to do with it, so I put it in my mouth and put it out in my mouth. Because you just panic. You panic. Yeah, exactly. So the guy did the same exact thing as I just did.
But he also did try, he tried a couple other things, and I'm thinking there's a bathroom, I mean, the first thing that came into my mind was the back of the toilet. No one's going to check there.
Yeah.
That's all I could think of.
I don't know if their backs are the same as ours, because the flushing mechanism was on that as well.
Oh, it definitely is. That thing it pops off.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That was the one kind of major thing that was kind of bugging me at times. I was like, okay, whatever.
Jeremy?
But, yeah.
All right, so let's see. Okay, I'll talk about another Dark Sky film release. This one starring Tony Todd and Danny Trejo, who both seem to be in everything. Not as much as Eric Roberts, but pretty much a lot of shit these days. And it's called VANish. Now, this movie's pretty similar to, Reckless. And is that what it's called, right? Is that what the movie is called? Yeah. So it's pretty similar to that film. So basically, you follow these two thugs. Let me just say this first. The entire movie takes place inside of their van. The camera never leaves the van until the end of the film. So it's pretty short, 75 minutes. So it's pretty much the entire film is shot inside the van. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and a pretty interesting perspective of the movie, that we never left this van. So we follow these two thugs. They decide to kidnap this drug lord's daughter, who's played by Danny Trejo. And the film's basically just them driving to the ransom spot, and as shit goes wrong along the way, Tony Todd plays a police officer who pulls them over, stuff like that. So this film basically has to have good characters and good acting to be able to be pulled off, because we're locked in with these characters inside this van the entire time. We're enclosed with them. We get to know them. We get to know everything about them, and we never get to leave this van. So you have to have good characters to be able to pull a film like that off. I think that's the case for all these films that take place in one setting. And I think these characters are pretty enjoyable. There's one character that's kind of annoying and I wish wasn't there, but he plays a major part in the narrative, so unfortunately he has to be there. But the two drug thugs, they do a pretty good job. I think they're likable characters and their acting isn't too terrible. I think if the acting was, a little bit over the top, I think it was suitable to their characters, and I think they were able to do a good job at it. Unfortunately, I think it really doesn't go anywhere. It gets boring at sometimes, basically because we're just listening to these characters' conversations, and it's not really that interesting. Every once in a while, some interesting dialogue is said and things like that. But besides that, it's kind of boring. And, I think it's a good thing that the movie's short and, 72, 73 minutes, because I think anything longer than that would be pushing it. I have to say there are some good effects and some pretty okay kills between the four characters in the film. So I have to say that's pretty cool that they didn't cheap out and go the CGI route, because you could tell this movie was made on a pretty low budget. So, overall, this movie's okay. It's not the best one place type of a movie, but I think it does its trick. I think I could only watch it once and I'll probably never watch it again. But for a one-time watch, I think it does the job all right. So I'm going to give this one just average 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. Interesting. Yeah. I got nothing.
Me neither. Moodz, your turn.
All right, so moving along here. This one here is from 2007. It's another Japanese film. I swear to God, all I've been watching lately is foreign films. Like, I have watched so many lately. It's crazy. But anyways, so yeah, this one's from 2007, and it goes by the title of, well, it's got 2 different titles, actually. It's been released under A Slit-Mouthed Woman or Carved. So, whatever. It's a tartan Asian extreme film. I'm just going to read the quick little IMDb, because it's decent enough for it, so. A suburban town in Japan is the victim of what is supposedly just an urban legend. A woman's spirit with a horribly disfigured face who is intent on kidnapping children for unknown reasons. Yeah, essentially that's exactly what it is. So you do learn, things in the film about, the backstory as it progresses throughout the film. And, this film right here is actually got a really interesting atmosphere to it. And it's a fucking slow burn. That's what I'll tell you, man. It's a slow burn type film. It's basically about this, supernatural killer, that is terrorizing this, apparently she terrorized a bunch of kids 30 years earlier, has come back 30 years later, and to finish up some unfinished business. It's one of those type storylines. It's very, very basic. But I did like the film, though. It's, like I said, it's a slow burn, and it's one of those type films where you're like, okay, well, why the fuck is this happening? And it finally kind of gives you it at the end of the film. Some pretty decent kills, and I think the killer, the Slit-Mouthed Woman, looks fucking fantastic. I love the look. It's very, very Asian, though. It's like it's got that she's got that look with the surgical mask across her face, of course hiding the scars of her face and stuff like that. But her weapon is this huge set of fucking scissors. It's fucking badass. But the thing I like about this film, it's kind of relentless in itself, because basically what she does is she kills kids. So there's a lot of kids that get abducted and slaughtered in this film. I mean, not a whole pile, but that's the whole premise. She kills kids, and I think that's brutal.
Right up JP's alley.
Yeah, I think that's really brutal, actually. And going back to it, like I said, it's a slow burn, and at times you're like, hey, what the fuck? And there is a little bit of slow moments that are actually not that interesting in the film. And there's a lot of characters too, because what she's doing is she's basically abducting kids, and so she's taking from all these different type families, and there's a lot of different characters and stuff. So you kind of lose interest a little bit. You kind of just want to get to the the fucking grunt of it, But overall, it's actually a pretty decent film. I enjoyed it, man. I mean, if you like your Asian, especially supernatural type films, this one is decent. I think it does have a little bit of plot holes at times, and it does kind of run a little slow at times, but definitely has enough going on to keep you interested. But the atmosphere is really what kind of sells this film. It really does feel cool. It feels like a really cool film. But, you know, I feel at the end of it, I felt it was kind of predictable at times, like why she was back 30 years later to, you know, start killing kids off again and stuff like that. I think it was a little predictable, and it kind of ruined it for me a little bit because I was really kind of called it. But not a bad film. I do recommend it. I give it about a 6.5 out of 10. There's not really a whole lot to say about it. It's just one you gotta check out. So not bad. Yeah.
Alrighty. So I guess we're going into segments. I guess I'm starting segments first.
Yeah.
Keep it in the rotation. So this segment, I guess I'm going to do a Horror 101, which for those of you just joining us now for the first time, that is where I talk about a horror documentary, either on a film or, you know, something scary or horrific. This time it is actually kind of a behind the scenes. It's Corpse Fucking Art from 1987 by our homie Jorg Bergerite. So this is actually a bonus feature on the film we're going to be talking about later, but this was actually a release back in the day. This was a VHS release I don't think it was in America. But you know, there was a VHS release of this. It is listed in his IMDb filmography as well. It's a documentary on the 2 Nekromantik films as well as the Todesking, kind of the behind the scenes style. I know that Jeremy did get a chance to check this out as well. It's, you know, literally just him talking about the film, and you see footage from behind the scenes. But it is very interesting. Like in the original Nekromantik, when he's sucking on that eyeball. That's a real eyeball. That's a pig's eyeball.
It was a fucking pig's eyeball.
That is disgusting. That really kind of.
I love how many
dedication,
times
man.
I love how many times they shot that too. It's like, and then he even goes into it about, he's like, man, that thing was like 3 weeks old at the time, and it was all chemical filled, and he's like, yeah, it probably didn't taste very good. And he's in his German accent. I fucking bursted out laughing, man. That's disgusting.
Oh my god, like
so gross, man.
Yeah.
Ew.
So, did you check this documentary out as well?
Yeah, I did, man. I watched the movie last night, and I watched the documentary right after, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it's just cool to kind of see, like, this is, like I mentioned to Jeremy, this is a behind the scenes before behind the scenes were, like, a thing, you know, a run-of-the-mill normal thing. So it's cool to see something from 87 that was behind the scenes on his films. You know, any other, you know, notable moments from behind the scenes from you guys?
Just the you know, the rotten body that they used in the Todesking or the Death King or whatever, just how they were explaining how they did it and stuff. It's fucking nasty.
It's amazing awesome. Too.
It looks so awesome. Good the way they did it. Like honestly, and I was kind of confused actually when I was watching this documentary, because it was shot in 87, and they're talking about like the Todesking and Nekromantik 2, which came out years. Yeah, which came out years. So he filmed all these like prior.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, and they came out so much later in time, and I thought that was kind of interesting. So I was a little confused at first, but I thought it was a really interesting kind of voiceover. They were just showing clips, and it's basically like a commentary.
Yeah. Well, I think that maybe the ADR was done later or something, because he's speaking English.
Yeah, true.
Is it English or is it subtitled? I can't even remember.
No, it's English.
Okay. So yeah, you know, not much to say about it, but it was a cool little thing that if you pick up their Todesking, definitely give it a watch. It's a cool special feature. I give it about a 5.5 out of 10, simply because it is just an old making of. It's not super impressive, but definitely a nice little cool thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Guys care to rate it?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I mean, I'll give it 5 out of 10.
I'd probably give it a 6 I give it a 6. I actually really enjoyed the kind of like the outtakes of when they were shooting the end scene for Nekromantik. When Buddy started fucking laughing, I was like, and actually I really enjoyed watching the end scene that they showed, the clips of you know, dude at the end of Nekromantik 2. Man, those effects, man, for, you know, basically $5 effects were pretty fucking good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty damn good. And I got a lot of enjoyment. I was actually laughing pretty hard when I was watching, when the guy's jumping on the bed and he keeps stabbing them and stuff. They're just fucking around. They're filming everything, right? Like all these outtakes. I thought it was pretty entertaining. So, yeah. Good stuff.
Jeremy.
Good stuff.
All right. Let's get on to it. I'm going to be telling a pick of the week. This week, I'm going to do a movie that I did a written review over on the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror website a week ago. And it is another artsploitation film. This one goes by the name of The Treatment. Now, as I said in my review, after watching Horsehead, I couldn't really think to myself how a movie released by Artsploitation could get any better because I really, really enjoyed that film. And when I finally finished this one, I was quite surprised with it because I absolutely fucking love this movie. Most people, when they read the description, they probably think that it would be a, typical crime drama, but as the front says, a chilling criminal masterpiece. That quote is actually pretty accurate because the film is really, really disturbing, really fucked up as we get into what's actually going on. So the movie is from Belgium, a country that really doesn't talk about that often outside of the horror community. Like I said in my review, only a couple of films in the last 15 years that come out of Belgium that we love and we talk about.
Calvaire,
Left Bank, and Amir. Those are the three that we've pretty much talked about on the show. Yeah. So in the film, we follow this detective named Nick. He gets assigned to this case that of a man and a woman, a wife and a husband, who get chained to this heater, one upstairs and one downstairs, and their child gets taken away from them, and it's this detective's job to find out what happened to this child. And there's a subplot with his brother who happened to have the same kind of experience. He was taken when he was little, and he never knew what really happened to his brother, and he's still horrified by the offense that his brother got kidnapped and he was never found. And I think that subplot is really, really well done. Yep. And it's because it's not just there. We get substance, and it's wrapped around the narrative in a very interesting and beautifully way that it's not just thrown in. It has a purpose. And a lot of subplots in movies usually don't have a purpose, like we talked about in All American Bully. But this one actually means something, and it contributes to the narrative, and it's really, really well done. And I think it adds a level of depthness to Nick's character that I think it should be there, and it's really, really good.
One of the key things that you mentioned there was the subplot work. Well, yeah. I think one of the key reasons that this film is so successful is that there are a lot of subplots happening that all come together in this cohesive way that works perfect. Because there's scenes where there's like shots where you'll follow this one subplot and will immediately go to the next one and then to the third one in like a quick order. It's like an update. It's like updating you on what's going on in each subplot, and that was done really, really well. Dude, I mean, the subject matter alone, I was like very surprised at how, because at first you're dealing with pedophiles, right? Which is already bad enough. But then when they go into detail, and some scenes were even borderline looked illegal, in America at least. So that was a little shocking for me, and I like that the film is not only about a single,
but it doesn't hold
case.
back though. It has a fucked up narrative, but it doesn't hold back because of censorship. I should look into more of the censorship laws in Belgium because I'd be curious to see what they are. But you could tell that us here in America, unfortunately, because of censorship in mainstream cinema, that we often don't get films this effective because they don't show us what we need to see.
Dealing with pedophilia,
exactly.
That's a big one here.
But this one actually has the balls to show us what's actually going on, and I think that's another reason why it's so effective.
And
because
cringeworthy, and it gets under your skin.
They show us. They just don't tell us. They actually show us.
Yeah.
And it's really, really fucked up when we learn what's actually going on.
You're dealing with a network of pedophiles, which I thought was an interesting way to kind of do it, because I thought at first it was just going to be about that one case, but then you find out it's bigger than that. Moodz, you want to say something?
No, I just need to watch it. I was going to watch it last night.
Oh, you didn't see it?
No, I ended up watching the Todesking and the documentary and stuff, so I spent 2.5 hours on that.
Yeah,
so.
And this is another 2+ hours.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But like I said in my review, it doesn't feel like 2.5 hours, because I think the narrative is done in a way that's really interesting, and the acting, like I said in my review, is absolutely fantastic. Like, even though there's all these subplots and all these characters, it's not terrible acting by any of them. and you believe them and you feel their pain and their suffering or their their mental states and things like that. And even characters that we see in only a single scene, I feel like they're still above average acting.
The acting's fantastic in this film.
It's just really, really good. Nick, the actor who plays Nick is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
He's really, really good.
This film reminded me a lot of The Secret in Their Eyes, that one that Brandon sent me. Not the same subject matter, but it's a gritty crime drama that is just as well done in terms of like technical like acting and camera work and stuff like that. So you guys need to hop on that and check that one out as well, because it's kind of similar. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Jeremy. This one, I think that what you said mainly is like it had the balls to not just tell us what's going on, but to show us. That's a good thing that you said there, because it is true. It's never gets like exploitive, but it definitely gets to an uncomfortable level, especially when you start seeing like
the scene in the tree.
Yeah, that was
like that
shot
is,
so good, dude. The
so
dogs
effective.
are jumping around, and then the camera like pans up. It's so that scene. It's funny. It's actually the DVD menu is that scene, because it's so well shot, and that's how I noticed. In great detail how well shot it is. But some of the scenes where you're dealing with the VHS tapes, like I was kind of like I was getting nervous. I was like, I don't want to see all this, and the effect of him watching it was done really well too. I mean, we could go into it for a long time, but I think we could just wrap it up since Moodz hasn't seen it. What did you rate that?
10 out of 10, man. It's fan-fucking-tastic. Watch it. It's amazing.
Yeah, there is I did have some negatives, but I'm not even going to say them right now. Mainly dealing with like convenience of certain events. They rely on convenience a lot to tell the story in certain points. So that was a little bit of a negative, but I give it about an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, it's such a big difference between 8.5 and 10.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. It could still make the Hall of Fame technically.
Technically, well, I guess I'll be the decider on that, quite literally, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so moving along. This one right here is from I don't even know what year it was. 2008, and this is a film from Spain. So continue along with the foreign films. I don't think I've watched any American film recently. Anyways, this one is called Shiver. Of course, from Spain. It's a film that I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about, except for a couple, and they highly recommended it to me, so I was very, very curious on this one. I was actually reading the IMDb story or the description for it. It actually does sum it up pretty well, so let's read it. Santi, a young high school student with a serious physical reaction to sunlight, is forced by his health to move with a single mother to a shadowy, isolated village in the mountains of Spain, where the inhabitants begin to reveal themselves as strangely xenophobic. When terrible violent events begin to occur, Santi becomes the first pair at school and then strongly suspected by the police of hideous murders. Santi himself, however, wonders if he's going to be the next victim. So basically it's about, a single mom and her son. He's got this really fucked up skin kind of disease where he's allergic to the sun. So they're forced to move out of the city into this small little, into this isolated village type deal. And on that note, I will say they shot this movie amazing. They shot every single day when it was super fucking cloudy and gloomy out. It really does capture an amazing atmosphere. It seems so fucking gloomy and just downright no sun. They did a fantastic job with this. I think the movie is executed quite well. The story kind of moves itself along, and you start to learn things about the house that they're living in and why these murders are happening. And of course, like I said, Santi is obviously the prime suspect, because every murder that happens in this small little town, he seems to be there for it. It's, very kind of typical, but, and now it's just like he's trying to defend himself and go, I had nothing to do with this shit. And then you start to learn things about the house that he lives in, and and more about the people in the city. If you don't know what a xenophobic is, it's basically, people that are, they're kind of like prejudiced against other people or like outsiders, people from different cities or countries or something like that. So pretty much everybody in this film is just, not accepting them because they're from the city. And, they don't accept outsiders at all. So you kind of have that kind of going on. It's really, really driven by atmosphere, and, it's fucking awesome, man. The nighttime scenes in this are shot so well, and it's got a really interesting type, finale to it too. What kind of happens, and obviously I'm not going to give away, but I really highly recommend this film, man. It was fantastic. Really great Spanish film. I thought the acting was strong. There's this one scene where this dude comes in. I won't really get into it too much, but there's a scene where this guy fucking freaks out with this sheep, and he brings in it's like a fucking real dead sheep too, and just throws it on the counter in this store and just fucking freaks out. I was like, just a fantastic scene because it's really well executed. But without giving anything away, it's one of those films you can't really say a whole lot about. You don't want to give anything away, but I highly recommend this movie called Shiver. Great Spanish film. I give it about an 8.5 out of 10. So definitely check out this one. It's fucking awesome. Really good shit. If you like atmospheric films, and like I said, I'm not going to give anything away about what happens, but it's good. It's good.
A friend at work actually told me to watch this who is not even a horror fan. So that's interesting.
Yeah, and this was also released by Dark Sky Films.
Yeah.
If you guys are wondering. So great film, man. Great Spanish stuff. Yeah. Loving the Spanish stuff right now. So that is going to do it for what we watched this week. And moving along into the featured review for the week. And it, of course, is The Death King, also known as the Todesking from, 1990? That's when we came out in?
1990.
Officially came out in 1990, yeah. So it officially came out in 1990.
I don't know a ton of films that came out in 90. It's like kind of a weird, horror films.
90 was a strange year. 91 was actually not bad. There's some good films in 91. But, of course, this is directed by George... Shit, dude. The guy that did Nekromantik 1 and 2.
Berkowitz.
Yeah, Berkowitz, yeah. Of course, famous for Nekromantik 1 and 2. So, does this one hold up? Compared to Nekromantik 1 and 2. Now, this movie is interesting because it's completely kind of different. I mean,
totally different.
It's a different structure. This one, basically, the premise of the film is...
I want to know why it's part of the Corpse fucking trilogy, but...
Anyways, the premise of this film, the movie deals about suicide. It all deals about suicide, and basically... It's 7 shorts dealing with each day of the week. So there's 7 different short stories based on, like I said, every day of the week dealing with suicide. So that's what it is.
Ratings?
So hold on. First, because you asked a question if it holds up from the Nekromantik film. So I think that Jeremy made a comment saying that this is his best film that we've covered. So I think we should kick it to Jeremy to tell us.
I didn't say that. I said I heard that it's his best film.
Oh, so you don't think it's his best film?
I think there's some parts that are really dry and boring.
Did you think it was his best film or not?
No.
No, okay. Never mind.
All right, so that's the premise of the film right there. Let's get right into it here. I don't know. Do you guys just want to do it by the days of the week? Just talk about the shorts and then
that's
overall feels. Right. So the first short obviously starts on Monday, and it's basically about a guy that's all the shorts are dealing with suicide. So this guy right here, he's in his apartment, and he oddly quits his job by phone. He phones in and says, "Hey man, I'm want to take my vacation."
He called into his job.
So he calls into work. And he quits his job, oddly enough, and asks for his time off and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a slow scene. We're really watching him methodically go through the process before his suicide.
I compare it to Italian neorealism. Italian realistic. It's not as good. Man. Not as good. Not even close. But
it isn't, man. I will say right off the top here, I mean, I feel like a lot of these shorts are almost being over artsy for the sake of being artsy. There's times in these things where I'm just like, oh my god. Right. There's a huge panoramic shot in this short that lasts 45 seconds. I swear to God, it felt like 45 seconds. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I actually like that shot though.
it's good, but it's just so fucking long.
Yeah.
But again, the music in the film,
good.
and the music is really good in all the shorts. Like, he does such a good job at that. But I don't know, man.
Well, listen,
the shorts are
I'll
almost
tell
too short
you
for my sakes.
what I think this one's point was. The point was to show the viewer that when somebody is about to commit suicide, they really take in and take their time with everything leading up to it. And it's supposed to give you that feeling of just watching the slowness and the build-up. So I think that one actually works for what it was trying to say. So I did like Monday.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out what the fish metaphor is. I'm still thinking about it. There's got to be some metaphor for the fucking fish.
It's just, I think what it is just a parallel to.
No, it is a parallel with the way he dies or the way he kills himself in the film.
Yeah, it's just.
I think that's exactly what it was. Just a parallel.
It's just an artsy way of showing a parallel to his death. But I like the actual suicide. I thought,
but it makes sense. It makes sense because it's so elegant, and how he takes his time and stuff, and then of course the way he does it, it does make a lot of sense. Yeah, right. It's very kind of
it's a personal thing to kill yourself, and this segment shows it.
Mm-hmm.
How he folds his underwear and his clothes as he takes them off, puts them on the toilet seat. Like I kind of got this one more than most of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this one made a lot of sense because, actually, that's a good point that you made. Him folding up his
and
clothes
Mondays
and
are
being very
slow
melodic and clean about things.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no, it's because the way he is. He's being very kind of precise and clean about things, and then that's parallel and to how he kills himself.
Yeah. So I definitely got
it goes hand in hand because the reason why people kill themselves this way is not to make a mess.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right. This is why women do this all the time.
Would you say
because
women?
They don't. No, it is. You look at the facts. It's like 90% of people that women commit suicide by this way do it for that reason because they don't want to make a mess.
Okay.
Makes sense. Anyways, so that it makes a lot of sense in that short. I thought it was actually one of the better ones too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving along into Tuesday, but before we get into Tuesday, I just want to say, in between all these shorts, the director obviously puts these, not obviously, but he puts these kind of interludes in there, and it's basically a corpse that is rotting, and in between each short, there's a progression of rotting with this corpse, which is, kind of makes sense to the structure of the film. I
felt like they didn't show it as much as they did towards the end. I can't even remember. It was just a brief split second early on. I don't know if there's a reason behind that. There probably is. He probably
maybe because there isn't much to show at the beginning.
Yeah,
maybe there isn't much to show at the beginning of the decomposition. And towards the end it just goes rampant, right? Mm-hmm. So getting into Tuesday, talk about Tuesday.
I love the video store.
Yeah, I knew everybody.
Man, it was freaking awesome.
I mean, there was something that I seen on the Mother's Day, the trauma one.
Yeah, I love how he's promoting his own movie.
Yeah, there's Nekromantik on each shelf. Every shelf, Nekromantik sitting there,
and the poster, Nekromantik poster.
Yeah, right.
Oh, shameless promotion.
See, I thought he was gonna pick it up and put it back in in the middle of the frame.
I was hoping he was gonna pick it up and be like, "Ha, trash," or something like that.
Yeah, but you got to remember Germans don't have a sense of humor, right? That would never happen.
Jesus Christ. So there's a man who goes to a video store where he rents a video from the video store, but he's taking his time going through the aisle at first, and that's a good scene for all of us fans out there, seeing the different releases on there. You could spot there was some actual popular releases, popular.
Oh, there was tons of good ones in there actually.
Yeah. So he ends up grabbing this one with a Nazi busty one. Was that Elsa?
It was an Ilsa cover, which is kind of it's interesting too because the actual Ilsa films are banned in Germany. So he used the cover of one, and then of course the film that they show is something that they made, but it was kind of like a fuck you to the German censors, hey, we're gonna watch this Ilsa film, right? I kind of enjoyed that. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I like that too. I had a feeling there was a reason for that if it was Elsa. Yeah. So basically, he takes it home, and for some reason I just love the grittiness of Jorg's sets. Like, it's a shitty apartment with like cigarette ashes, and I just like the gritty.
Even the VHS,
yeah,
even the VCR's dirty, and
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
one of those top loaded ones.
yeah, it's badass.
So as he's sitting there, he's watching the film, and it's a Nazi soldier torturing a prisoner in a concentration camp.
No, it's not a concentration camp.
It's not.
It's just a homage to the Elsa films, is what it is. It's just
on Wikipedia it says it's a concentration camp.
It's one of those Nazi camps that do tests. It's not a concentration camp. It's one of their test sites. Is
You're
what it is.
arguing with my kind.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
So they're
this is
basically
on Wikipedia.
yeah.
I'm fucking with you.
All right. So yeah, the guy gets his dick cut off. Is what happens actually.
And you see it.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
actually
pretty
the
good.
director himself in that scene.
Yeah. Good old Jorg.
Yeah.
Cutting off dicks.
Dude, that's fucking nasty, that part, dude. Like, it was viciously done, dude. I'm just like, oh. It looks so fucking gross.
Now, this
one
one
you can capture pretty well, man, is that just that feeling of, ugh.
I had a feeling that was a scene that you probably gagged at, or
Ugh. Fuck, it was nasty.
Yeah. So one of the things that was misleading about this film to me is I've always heard it being described as a film that documents 7 days of suicide, but it's not. It's not all suicide, right?
what do you mean?
There's no suicide in Tuesday.
Yeah, the guy hangs himself.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, that was him. Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering what the hell that was. I was like, oh, so...
He shot his girl and
I-
then he hung
see,
himself.
These are really
missed
hard
that.
to talk about.
That was my fault.
These are really hard to talk about because, yeah, after he does what he does to his girlfriend, yeah, you see a very quick clip of his feet hanging. But I have to say, man, actually, this short had one of my favorite scenes in the entire film in it. When I'll just say a picture frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, honestly,
I was like,
feel
oh my
like
God,
the
that's so
effect of this
awesome.
film is ruined by spoilers whatsoever, but we will try to maintain a little bit of spoiler free, but it will be hard.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll just say that.
Yeah, that
picture
was a
frame.
good scene. That was very
It
artsy
fucking-
as well.
I was like,
but
oh,
I
dude,
liked
that's
it.
good, man.
Yeah, that was cool.
Totally artsy, yeah.
Okay. So Wednesday, huh?
Is this the bridge
Yeah.
one?
No.
Is that Thursday?
No, this is in Wednesday. Basically, it's very, very basic. It's about a guy that sits down on a park bench and he's sitting next to a girl. It's pissing down rain. She's got an umbrella over her, and he just starts telling his fucking life story about how him and his wife are not getting along and how he's, he doesn't understand and blah blah blah, and it just keeps going on and on and on, and then it ends.
Yeah. She's
So-
bleeding from the fad. She can't understand why. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
much it.
he's he has sex with her and she's bleeding through her vagina. There's everything is going on with this guy, and he's of course sitting there and he's just getting pissed on, which is obviously just it's foreshadowing to he doesn't give a fuck and what he's gonna do, right? He's just like, yeah. So, I thought this one was kind of entertaining, but at the same time, I'm just like,
Kinda
you know
dry.
exactly what's gonna happen. Right, it's so predictable, and it is oddly enough, it's very dry.
It's like White Coast. Very dry.
He's like completely soaked in the episode or in the short, but it's dry. Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of like,
So we see the
Eh.
girl hand him the gun, right? Is that saying something? Is that supposed to say how like our fellow man won't do anything to help us, but only push us further?
Look at you,
Yeah,
JP, analyzing films.
well, I mean,
You have to with this guy's films because everything is calculated. Like sometimes it's overly artsy, and those are the easier ones to tell. But I feel like everything he's doing he's saying something.
no, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Or it could just be saying that Germans are very easily annoyed and they're just like quick to give you shoot yourself in the head.
I didn't really care for this one too much as either. Like,
I was losing interest very, very quick in this one too. I didn't really care for it either, to be honest. But
so as always,
yeah.
it disappoints.
yeah, and then of course it gets into another interlude with the rotting corpse, and this is where it really starts to escalate. In my opinion,
It looks
kind of see like the
literally
corpse.
looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks really fucking good.
It fucking looks.
Did
so
you
good,
ever
man.
think at least once like this could be a real body like decomposing? Like
Totally.
I
100%,
for real
man. I
was like, well, I'm sure it's illegal, but there's probably some way to do it.
well, in the corpse fucking art, he even shows like he's talking about when the eyeball falls out, and he's like, "Hey, there it is! Watch for it!" And then the eyeball falls out. It's like, it's fucking crazy how they did that, man. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so the corpse starts to escalate in its decomposition, and then we get into Thursday. And Thursday, in my opinion, is it's very, very George being artsy, and I have to say, man, the way he shot this was amazing. I thought it was really, really shot well. And, it's effective if you kind of overthink it. Obviously the running of the credits during the short are obviously the victims.
It took me a while to get it. I was like waiting for like the short to start, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So he's basically, the credits are basically obituaries is what he's doing. And it's basically what it is. It's a shot. It's a camera shot that's running along a bridge. And as our credits are rolling, and it's basically just telling you that all these people jump to their death.
Yeah, different ages, 74, 16. Yeah. Now, if it was real, if this bridge is a real place that is known as the Death Bridge or whatever, there are bridges like that throughout all of the world that are famous for suicides. I find that to be incredibly interesting and just something cool. But it is a short film. It's not supposed to be in a short film movie. Like, that's something that you would put on YouTube or something like that,
Exactly.
But, of course, there was no YouTube back then, so can't hate it too much.
That's the thing, man. Like, I thought it was really well kind of done and very, kind of interesting, too. Like, but at the same time, it was overly artsy, and it kind of really slows the pace of the film down, big time. I didn't really think it added a lot to it. I mean, that on its own is really interesting.
Well, I think the one thing that it does help with is you're dealing with 7 days and you want to show a suicide in different ways, right? So this is kind of a cool way to show suicide. It's not graphic.
It's an artsy way. It's a very artsy way. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of liked it.
It's definitely the best shot short in the fucking entire... It's amazing how he did that underneath that bridge and stuff. It's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, as it was tracking over the bridge, there's a tracking shot of, like, he's, like, between the pillars of the bridge, tracking left. And I was thinking, well, how did he do that? He obviously didn't have enough money for a fucking crane.
Like a crane shot,
so he had to fucking somehow use like a selfie stick, I would think, or something.
Yeah, I was just thinking that like somebody was. I just think
I wish they had to talk about that on there. On the on the documentary, I wish they had to actually talked about that.
Didn't they talk about it though? They used like the clotheslines, I thought.
Did they talk about?
They put the camera on those like clotheslines, and it like
oh, maybe that's maybe they did, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was still really well done. But for the right in the middle of the fucking movie too, it's like
maybe that would be a good opening credits. Like
exactly,
right?
That would have been good actually. That would have been good for Monday actually.
Yeah,
that actually
then you
makes a lot
fear
more
of
sense
like tuning everybody
like the
out right away.
Short. It literally feels like the opening credits to a short,
or the
and
closing
then we get
credits.
into another, or the closing credits.
I think
exactly.
closing might work better.
And then we get into another interlude with the rotting corpse. It just like cuts right into it, and you're like, okay. So that's Thursday, moving along until Friday, which I'm not gonna lie, I hated this one.
It's the weakest out of all,
yeah.
Including the one where you just see credits.
Yeah, I thought these back to back was really, really bringing down this whole shit for me, man. It's like, and this one's actually might even be the longest one or something. I don't know, man. This one felt fucking so long.
It didn't make any sense that much.
It doesn't make sense. And the thing that pissed me off about this short is that basically it's this lady, she sees this couple having or making love in this window.
Supposed to be her. Okay.
Yeah, and then it kind of cuts back to her, and then I don't know, man. This one didn't really.
She gets a chain letter that's urging her to kill herself,
but she doesn't.
And she eats a bunch of chocolate, falls asleep, and she's dreaming of her parents when they make love.
Yeah,
exactly. And then it's kind of like
stupid.
This is what happened to her back in the time, and then it all of a sudden cuts to the couple that was making love in the window, and they are dead in their bed.
I don't get this one.
And I was like, and I actually kind of like, what the fuck? I'm like, he didn't show this. I'm like, why did they fucking? Because it doesn't make any sense, man. And
you must think it's important because it's on the back cover.
Well, unless they were supposed to have the letter themselves, but they were obviously having a good time making love. You don't just go and kill yourself after you fuck. And especially where they were bleeding. They're bleeding from their stomachs too. And I was like, I don't fucking get this at all, man. It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, so, I would like George to explain that one, or Jorg.
Yeah. I just thought it was a complete mess, and
if he has a meaning,
kind of thrown
which
together.
I'm sure he does, it was not displayed or conveyed well.
Exactly. I mean, for the three of us not to understand like a short, I don't get it, man. I don't know. But that one I felt was just completely rubbish and kind of really brought down, Thursday, Friday, and then moving into Saturday. What do you guys think of Saturday?
Well, a young woman equips herself with a camera, goes POV first-person shooter style, enters a rock concert, and kills people until... Well, I guess I'll leave it at that.
If only this was made when Colorado happened.
Honestly, I thought this was pretty cool. I mean,
I thought
it's
this
ahead
had
of its
better
time.
ideas.
Yeah.
I thought it had better ideas than it was executed, though. I did like the very last shot of it, how they...
Yeah.
Well, I won't ruin that,
I know
but
what you mean.
I did like the very, very last shot. But I think the coolest part of the short is actually her attaching that, the camera harness to her.
The steady
I thought
Yeah.
I was intrigued as shit by that.
Steady
It was
cam.
like, it's fucking cool, man.
That's how they shot the scene in fucking Goodfellas when they're walking through the restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I just liked seeing that though because she was oddly filming herself doing that.
Yeah.
But obviously, what do you guys think this one means? Is this like a knock on violence in film, and it's kind of like quite literal?
Yeah,
where people blame films for violence. Well, this is like violence being done for the set. Like I think it's something
That's pretty
like
much
that.
Yeah, that's what
That's
I got.
pretty
out of
much
it.
what I gathered from that too.
Yeah.
It had a lot to do with film because why are you gonna fucking attach a camera to you?
Yeah, it's
and
like
then go
film
kill
is
randoms?
quite
'Cause there's
literally
no
the
connection.
reason that she's causing violence in that
Exactly.
point. And
It's violence for the sake of violence, and because
She can.
really, she doesn't. We're not showing that she has any connection to that band member that she shoots or the audience members either, right?
yeah, it's
No.
random.
So
It's total Colorado.
So it is
style.
random. So it's for the sake of fucking
And
killing people. Like, so yeah, you know how it goes, man. I think that's what I gathered from it, but
Yeah, I like that one. I thought that one was cool.
I thought it was okay. I was expecting right from the start of it. I was expecting a lot more, and it actually kind of let me down, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I don't know. I like the idea though. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
And then of course we get into some more interludes with Rotting Corpse, and now it's just like full born fucking disgusting and awesome, and honestly,
Yeah,
At
pretty
this
damn
point,
cool.
it's like nasty.
Yeah, this is
It's
like
getting
where
real
it's getting
fucking nasty.
Fucking, it start like, I honestly like I don't know what a corpse looks like when it rots, but this looks pretty good to me.
Yeah.
When it starts cracking and the flesh starts separating, and then like even in the stomach area where all the organs are, and you see it like the level of it decreases over time because all the bugs eating it and shit. That's cool, man. That's cool and gross.
So then we move along into Sunday, which I'm not going to lie, I fucking hated the short. I thought it was absolutely terrible. Might even be the worst one in the 7
Worse than
shorts.
Friday.
I think this one is both better than Friday. Yeah, just Friday. Maybe even
I don't
Wednesday.
know. I hated the short. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was awful to me. I don't know, man. It's some dude in a bed. He's wigging out, and then he starts slamming his head on a wall.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what we get from it.
I think what it's supposed to mean is he bashes his head against the wall until he goes brain dead. He's not dead, but it's another form of suicide by completely cutting off your brain because that's what's living about you, not your body.
I understand what it's doing, but I don't know. I didn't fucking like it.
I thought
all.
it was okay to end it because it is like I think the point of this is to show these different forms of killing yourself, and I thought that it was an interesting outside the box way of thinking about it. Like once your brain dies, like you're brain dead, you have no thought. You're pretty much committed suicide. I don't know. It was honestly, it's literally
Not
that.
really.
You're watching a guy hit his head off the wall.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot to say about Sunday, but I don't know. What are your guys' overall thoughts on the film as a whole? For me, I feel at times it's being overly artsy for the sake of being artsy at times. Like, I just found it kind of tedious and at times boring for a film that runs 75 minutes. There was some really good ideas, and I just wanted to explore a little more. But there's things like Sunday and Friday, and as well done as the Thursday was, it doesn't really belong in my opinion. Like the way it was, it kind of ruins the structure and the overall kind of progression and the feel of the film because it's just like this. Yeah. There's nothing there, and it's really hard, and to kind of take in fully. But I do like the ideas in the film, and that's the thing. And I really don't want to bash it too much or anything, but as an overall product, I think honestly the best shit going on is the decomposing body.
Monday and Tuesday and the body.
Yeah.
And the body.
Yeah.
You know, I think the body to me was the most entertaining thing in the entire thing in the movie, man. And I'm not gonna lie, man. I that's what I felt. Mm-hmm. After I was done, I kind of sat there for a few minutes. I thought about it and wrote down some thoughts, and then I was like, okay. And then I thought about it, and I was like, man, honestly, that's what I liked about it. And then I watched the documentary, and honestly liked it more. Liked it way more.
Well, I'll actually, Jeremy, if you want to give your final thoughts, then I'll give my final thoughts and kick off the ratings.
Yeah, okay. So overall, you know, yeah, I was wrong with it being his best film. I said in the chat that I heard that it was his best film.
Yeah, sorry for misunderstanding.
Yeah, and I don't understand why. It's definitely not as good as Nekromantik 1 and 2, and you guys know I'm not even closely being a fan of Nekromantik 1 and 2. I'm not that. I don't really like them, to be completely honest. I think they're still good films, and that's why I gave them the ratings that I did. But you know, this one's definitely worse than both of them, and I think all the problems that we discussed throughout this entire review explains why it's his weakest film so far. It's not terrible, to be completely honest. It's just bad. And
yeah, it's definitely not terrible. I agree.
Yeah, it's just bad.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So I probably like this one more than you two. I do agree that it is a little overly artsy at times, but I also think that it's thought provoking. Each segment means something. It's done well in terms of like that. There's some shots that are really good, and there's others that aren't. But I mean, I feel like each segment, you know, Monday has its thing for you to figure out. Tuesday has its thing for you to figure out. All of them have this thing. I do like Thursday, the motorway bridge scene. I just feel like it was the wrong day. It should have been either Sunday or Monday. But I do like it. I think that it's very interesting, and it makes you kind of think, and it kind of made me feel a little sad. I was like, wow, this is a historic like place where everybody just goes to die. And I like the social commentary and the themes, and I like trying to figure them out. That was my favorite part, was like each day I was like, okay, so what's this one going to be? The actual film substance itself, like the storyline, what's happening to these people, is a little lacking. It's kind of lame in some segments. I agree. Mm-hmm. Sunday, well, that sucks because it's Sunday. Sundays suck. So that's how you explain that one away. So yeah, overall, I did like this film. I thought it was decent. I don't like it as much as the Nekromantics, and I give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Damn, really? Yeah, man.
And the rotting corpse was a big, awesome like thing that obviously has its own ratings as well.
Like I said, man, like I really like the ideas behind it, and like JP said, you know, with the, you know, each segment obviously being making the viewer think and stuff. I enjoy that, but the problem is I really didn't like 4 of the 7 shorts on here. I mean, one I do like. I just feel like it's misplaced, you know, with Thursday. But you know, for the most part, and a couple of the other ones, I was kind of disappointed by the ends of them, and yeah, the interludes, man, the decomposing body, man, I thought it was fantastic. But as an overall product, man, I was not impressed at all with this. At times I was just like, okay, man, cool. Digging the music though.
The music. That's fine.
Yeah, music.
I like the whole. I thought the whole Ilsa thing was really funny to me. I thought that was really cool that they did that, especially back when you filmed this in '87 or whatever, or 1990, or I guess it would have been in '87 when you filmed it, obviously, right? Or '88 or whatever the fuck it was. But
I want to be shot this before Nekromantik 2.
Yeah. So anyways, like, yeah, you know, there was some good ideas and stuff, but overall, I didn't feel this at all, to be honest. And it's something I probably won't revisit anytime soon. And I give it 4.5 out of 10. So
I think it's an above average film. I don't know, man.
I really don't.
I feel like I feel like we have to give credit to like that's what he came up with. That's where
the 4.5 is coming in. I'm giving him credit for those things, but there's enough here. There's more that I dislike than I actually like. So I can't.
Fair enough.
I can't go above average. So that's how I explain it. Jeremy?
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. Wow, I'm surprised you came in higher than me. That's insane. Really, I'm the lowest. Interesting. Yeah, didn't do anything for me, to be honest. Not very impressed. I honestly like the documentary way more. It was so much more entertaining. But I don't know. That's just what it is, I guess. It's all cold and quiet. How the fuck did Moodz come in the lowest? That never happens. Never fucking happens.
I understand what you're saying and stuff. Like, I don't find it an entertaining movie, like, really. Like, I was not, like, super entertained. But I did enjoy, like, the thought-provoking nature of it, and I give it, like, credit for being smart in terms of figuring out a way to make a movie out of 7 suicides and make them have social commentary in a short amount of time. Like, I'm impressed by stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and that's factored into my 4.5 right there.
Yeah,
but
it's not
like
an entertaining movie, though.
But yeah, it's definitely not entertaining. But like, there's there's more of the shorts that I didn't really care for. So I just can't.
Yeah, and there's more that I didn't care for either. Like, I don't like the actual shorts most of the time. I like the message behind the shorts. But I feel like that, when I watch it, even though I'm not entertained by what's actually happening, I am super entertained by how it's being done and the commentaries and stuff. That's where my personal rating comes in, is more about being entertained from the idea instead of the actual movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you bet. So that is going to conclude episode 53, another bonus episode in this summertime. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I thought this episode was fantastic. Your guys' thoughts on the show?
Episode.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was fun.
Really, really good stuff. And so I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And like I said, that's going to conclude episode 53. Not much more to say. Jeremy, take us away.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the 53rd episode of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. For those of you who want to follow the man Moodz himself, you could do so at youtube.com/Moodz616. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, click the subscribe button down below. If you want to follow JP, a.k.a. the man who hates people who hurt me, you can do so at youtube.com/DoubleShotJ. And as always, you can follow me on my channel, youtube.com/NESRuler22. You can follow us over on our website at 22shotsofmoodsandhorror.com. That's at 22shotsofmoodsandhorror.com. You can read my written reviews, see Moodz's and JP's video reviews, catch up on some awesome website exclusive stuff and everything over there on the site. So please go over there, check it out. Whole bunch of stuff over there. Also, you can follow us on our Facebook page, facebook.com search bar 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast, and join the Facebook page over there. Whole bunch of awesome people. And you can follow us on Twitter, also twitter.com/22 Shots podcast, twitter.com/22 Shots podcast. And if you have any questions, you could email us at the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror at gmail.com. It's 22 Shots of Moods and Horror at gmail.com. And if you have any questions, you can leave us a voicemail at 724-426-6665. And that should do it, folks, for this episode of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast. We'll be back hopefully in August with a franchise show of Psycho. But until then, we should talk to you guys soon. See you guys.